Welcome everybody to MCToon Live. I'm your host, MCToon. Tonight we've got a debate. This will be on Modern Day Debate, but I'll be running it here as well. I was working on stuff. I got a lot in the works here. So let's see. I gotta send something here. Anyway, I got the Zoom link already. You'll get to see everything over here. The behind the scenes, the green room, all that fancy stuff. You know how it goes here. I just give it all to you, and it costs you nothing. All right, so I got the Zoom link. I'm gonna pop into the Zoom call now, and all right, there we go. Joining. Hold on. Here we go. All right. I'm in the waiting room. All right. Cool. How are you all doing? This is going to be the format is pretty open. I think we'll go over it. Oh, I'm in. Here we go.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey there. So you know, I'm live streaming on my channel right now. So whatever.
Awesome. Appreciate you letting me know.
Yeah, it's going out there. So
give me 1 second. Just maximizing my stream connection right now by getting everyone else connected to it to turn theirs off. And I'm going to do one more test here. I've been having awesome upload speed lately, but we've been having some crazy storms today, so I think it's kind of affecting it very slightly.
Yeah, I lost cell phone service like almost all day yesterday for similar reasons.
But right now, everything looks clear. I just want to make sure it doesn't lag once we start streaming. Okay, so everything's correct. I just got to switch y'all's cameras. For some reason, Zoom always flip-flops them once I connect to OBS. There we go. And do you prefer MCToon, or do you have something else you like to go by?
Mike.
That's my name. Awesome. Easy to remember.
That works. Or Toon. James likes to call me Melvin.
He calls me Donnie, Hoddle, Ron. We go back and forth with calling each other names on purpose, though.
That's James. You can't call somebody by their name.
I call him Donnie most of the time because I think it was Kent Hovind or someone of that nature called him Donnie like 3 or 4 times during a debate. It was hilarious. All right. Toon, you been on the channel before?
Have I been on? Yeah.
Awesome. Welcome back.
Kent called James Donnie.
Yeah, I don't know if that's an inside thing or if it's just a moment.
I know James is doing it for fun. I get the feeling that Kent did it because he's confused.
Perhaps. All right, and so you guys are going to do 10-minute openings, 4 to 5 statements, or like kind of like points, main points, and then a 90-minute dialogue. Is that correct?
Yeah.
We lessened it down to 3 each.
3 points each? Okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate the update there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're going to start the music and intro in about 7 minutes. Okay, there we go. That made my megabits go up a little bit. Feeling more confident now.
What did you do to make it faster?
So I have this app, and for anyone else who's listening who might have trouble with lag sometimes, um, it's called Speedify. I wish I had like a referral thing that I could maybe get some discount on. But basically, you can mesh multiple Wi-Fi networks together, and then it decides which ones you use for streaming, and it splits other traffic up onto other ones. So I have it connected to my phone hotspot and my Ethernet cord, and it's able
Okay.
to use both at once. So I went
Plus
from
plus McDonald's down the street.
if I was close enough to it, but you actually could. So I went from literally when I had all the browsers open, I forgot that I did that. It was like at 12 megabits upload speed. I closed all the browsers and everything and went up to like 20, had a couple people get off the Wi-Fi network and went up to 25. And normally when both are rocking and rolling, I go up to 50.
All right.
Theoretically, I should have higher than that, but I don't know what the deal is. Like I said, we've had a lot of storms last day. Okay. Looks good though. Just gonna pull up the chat so I can. I know since you guys are doing a little bit extended open dialogue, I just wanted to double check that we still had time to do Q&A after. So it's a major part of the channel.
Fine for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Yep.
And Mike, your channel, is it Mike McToon on YouTube or
MCToon Live.
MCToon? Okay.
You see, because I'm a rapper like MC
Obviously.
Hammer. My first album is still coming out. It's Please Tune, Don't Hurt 'Em.
It's your boy.
Yeah, someday never.
Okay. All right, we're going to start the music here in just a second. We can start a minute or two early.
So there will be an after show on this channel after the debate is done on Modern Day Debate. I'll wrap it up here and then jump to the after show. And on the after show, any super chats or anything that come in, I'll address them in the after show. And then maybe Max is going to do one. I don't know. I told him if he would, then I'll join him. Otherwise, just hang out here for a while. Either way, it'll be a good time. Yeah, Icy Spin. That's not going to happen.
I just want to make
yeah,
sure
okay.
you were talking to your audience, right?
Yeah, I
Okay.
muted myself to you so you didn't hear.
Awesome. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't missing anything.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Max is doing an after show. You know Max, right, Mike?
Yeah. Your Bamate talks.
Yes.
What's up, Max? If you're watching, how you doing, bud? Appreciate your chat moderation. You're real good at it. I'll give you a shout out at the end there, Max. Try to direct people to you. I don't have raid privileges yet, but I do have the ability to do polls. Have you been to a debate con, either of you?
No. I'm waiting for
No,
James to invite me.
They're really fun.
Yeah, maybe next time. This is my
Yeah.
first time doing anything like this, to be honest.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna start the music here, guys. Wait, real quick. Do either of you need to share your screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you guys decided to go first? Who's
It
going
doesn't
first?
matter.
I'd be
Go
fine
ahead.
to go first.
Okay, why don't
Yeah,
you go ahead
go
and
for
share
it.
your screen just so I can make sure the screen share is set up.
See that?
Yeah, awesome. Okay, looks good. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started here.
All right. I don't know if you heard Sully chuckle. I shared my intro, which maybe made him chuckle.
And we are live.
He said we're live. I don't know. Oh, the music is live, I guess, over there on
Just double checking on my phone that
Modern
it's
Debate. I don't see it.
playing properly. Should be.
I'm looking at the Modern Day Debate live stream. It's nothing there. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. All right. Here's what he may have chuckled at. Because I'm an expert now.
Cool. All right, we got about a minute left of the intro here. I saw one of your commenters, MCToon, wants to debate me on Speedify. I don't know why. Has he got a better option? I'm open to it.
I don't know why somebody would want to debate on whether or not Speedify is the thing to use or not. Whatever.
Yeah, I usually like everyone who's live streaming. I try to get their chats up too, just in case like there's an audio issue or something. I hear it from anybody.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Well, ready yourself, boys. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
10 seconds.
All right. Are you doing the James intro?
As best I can. All right, here we go. All right, everybody, welcome back to Modern Day Debates. We got another flat Earth versus globe conversation debate today. This one's a little different. These two gentlemen have decided to do 3 points of, I guess, scientific contention that they're going to be focusing their opening statements around. And then we're going to do a little bit extended open dialogue that's going to be lasting about 90 minutes roughly. And then, as always, we'll get into the Q&A. So if you guys have some super chat questions, get those in. Get your tickets to DebateCon 8 coming up in July. That is going to feature tons of great debates. Andrew Wilson's doing a couple of the headlining ones. He's going to be debating here Saturday. Check him out. And then also we got a couple great sponsors. Main First Project. We got Yonaguni Sushi or Cuisine. They're in Aguadilla, Puerto Rico. Check them out if you're ever there. And Bob, who owns it, is actually a kind of main guy at the debate conference. So you'll probably meet him if you're coming out. So it's going to be fun. We're going to get right into it. We decided that McToon's going first here. or MCToon, and then slowly following that. So I believe he's going to be sharing some screen. I don't know if he needs to do that right away. He'll let me know, but we're going to go ahead and hand it over. The floor is going to be all yours, and I'll start your 10 minutes the moment you start talking.
All right, sending a share screen here for you.
Go ahead.
All right, you got that?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, I'll just do a quick intro. I started debunking Flat Earth in 2018. That's been over 8 years, so I'm an expert now. I went to Antarctica and filmed the 24-hour sun. Pretty good time. I last year issued a challenge to anybody, $100,000 if they don't believe it. And nobody's taken me up on it, so apparently everybody believes it. That's good. Here we go. What else? We got what I found is that when flat earthers debate, they tend to, number one, never present evidence for flat earth, but when they do try to do something, it usually takes the form of this right here, this claim where they say the globe predicts, and then something that the globe doesn't predict. They get it wrong. They get the math wrong typically. Number two, they say this observation doesn't match the thing that the globe doesn't predict. Not a surprise. The globe didn't predict it. And then number three, they conclude that it's flat, which of course isn't correct at all. It's a non sequitur. So you've got a straw man and a non sequitur. It's a pretty standard thing. I don't know if that's going to be what Sully does or not. I will show in a minute here a couple instances of that. The correct form would be to act correctly, state what the model predicts, and then you test it. And if it matches the prediction, then it's confirmed. If it doesn't match, it's falsified. So that's the basic form of a, it's basically how science is done. So let's go here. So we chose three topics here. My first one here is Coriolis. So we're going to start with a citation from Quantum Eraser's book that recently came out. It says the Coriolis effect also refers to the apparent deflection of objects moving in a straight path relative to the Earth's surface. Its strength is proportional to the speed of the Earth's rotation at different latitudes. So that means that Coriolis is relative to the surface, the velocity between the object and the surface. To make a distinction between Coriolis and Utvush, Utvush is the vertical portion of it. Coriolis is lateral. Coriolis is maximized at the pole and zero at the equator. And typically flat earthers get this wrong. Utvush is maximized at the equator, but that's the vertical component. I'm just talking about Coriolis today, the horizontal component. Some people bundle them together in Coriolis. I'm just making a distinction. I'm talking about the lateral. And of course, again, it is proportional to the speed of the object relative to the surface, and it varies with latitude. So here is the flat earth misunderstanding of it. Pretty common. I've heard this for about 8 years. If the earth rotates between the plane, a westbound flight should be significantly faster due to the ground moving eastward. Have you heard this? This is right out of Quantum Eraser's book. Conversely, the other direction should be slower. But this is not Coriolis. This is an imagined universe where conservation of momentum does not happen. The universe we live in, there is conservation of momentum, and Coriolis is the effect of conservation of momentum. I'm going to do some math here. Now, this is going to start with flat earth math. Now, as I mentioned, the standard form for flat earthers is to get the globe claim wrong. Typically, that's in the form of math being wrong. So here it is. Doing the actual math. This is from Quantum Eraser's book. It's common everywhere. You find it everywhere in YouTube, TikTok, Discord, Facebook, and in books. They'll say the distance between two cities is a certain amount. The airspeed is 500 miles an hour. The ground speed is 860 miles an hour. And they will imagine that as soon as that airplane leaves the ground, that it no longer has the momentum that it had while on the ground. Therefore, it should be significantly, drastically different in different directions. This is not Coriolis. This is the imagined universe where conservation of momentum doesn't exist. But here is the real application of Coriolis, right? The acceleration is 2 times the velocity in relation to the surface of the Earth times the rotational speed of the Earth times the sine of the latitude. That means that the sine of 0 is 0, so at the equator it's 0. Sine of 90 is 1. So Coriolis is maximized at the poles. So I will go through some examples here. We've got a hovering helicopter. And I chose 70 degrees north latitude because Coriolis is rather high there. But it's a bit unusual to expect Coriolis or helicopters and hot air balloons and things to go right at the North Pole. So the math there is a little silly, but even at 70 north, it's not very common. So a hovering helicopter, well, the velocity is 0, so the Coriolis acceleration is 0. That's what you expect. A hot air balloon, now at 20 miles an hour. I looked up what's a normal hot air balloon. They try to be in wind conditions that aren't too bad, so 10 miles an hour is kind of common. I doubled that to 20. What is the actual Coriolis acceleration of a hot air balloon at 70 degrees north? Well, go through the math. You can take your own time, do it yourself if you want. 0.001 meters per second squared. That's very, very small. Not even enough to notice. What about an airplane? An airplane at 70 degrees north going 600 miles an hour. That's pretty fast. Well, it's 0.036 meters per second squared. What is that? How do we know what that is? Well, that is about a tenth of a crosswind, a 10 kilometer per hour crosswind, which isn't that strong of a crosswind. So Coriolis at 70 degrees north, where it's kind of high, is less powerful, less force than a 10 kilometer per hour crosswind. So it's not really that strong for an airplane. That's why airplanes don't need to deal with it very much. The way they do deal with it is through waypoints. And if you want, we can talk about that later, but look up waypoints. You can see how they do it. And now one more example, a bullet.
Got about 3 minutes left.
At 2,800 feet per second, the Coriolis acceleration is 0.124 meters per second squared, which is 4 times the acceleration of the airplane. So let's do an experiment. If it exists, then things will deflect to the right in the northern hemisphere and left in the southern. But these are scams. You've seen these. This isn't it. What we do see, though, is we see hurricanes moving one direction north and the other direction south, moving to the right in the north and moving to the left in the south as the air moves. So that's a confirmation. Further, we see that where Coriolis is 0 at the equator, the hurricanes don't go there because they don't have Coriolis force at the equator, so the hurricanes can't cross it because there's no rotation anymore. Hurricanes rely on that rotation. We can see also the observed path of clouds from volcanoes. In the northern hemisphere, they're moving to the right. There's one, there's another. And we can also see Foucault pendulums. This one I took myself at the Chicago Science Museum. And you can see here, I put a arrow on the screen where sorry. I don't have enough time. You can watch it later. It moved. Anyway, observation confirmed. So now what about if it's applied? If the Coriolis effects exists, then the military, for example, will use it in firing solutions. So here's some unclassified military ordnance firing solutions from a 16-inch gun. And they do, in fact, document and instruct the people that they need to use Coriolis in their firing solutions right there. And in the south, they need to change the direction. Similarly, the 8-inch gun, deflection in yards due to rotation of the earth. Similarly, sniper manuals document how to do it. There is the formula. And if you remember the formula from before, we have omega times sine of alpha, or the latitude. It's a similar formula. This one's solved specifically for long-range shooting. So there we go. We have a confirmation that it is applied. Finally, we're going to measure it. If it exists, then it should there should be a measurement of it. And FE Core commissioned Stephen P to build a gyroscope to test if there is Coriolis. There's his channel, and here's the video is playing. The important part is that he measured the rotation here.
That's the time.
All right. Anyway, he measured it, and it was confirmed. Was that 10 minutes?
That was 10 minutes.
All right. I only got through
Can I
one.
ask a question? Like before we so are we supposed to go through all of our claims in the opener, or was that just you spending 10 minutes on Coriolis accidentally?
I was intending to go through more. I didn't
Okay.
I didn't time it
Okay.
well, obviously.
Yeah, that was okay. Here, I'll request to share then. Let me know.
Yep, should be good.
Okay, cool. Flat Earth versus globe. Criteria is quality of scientifically substantiated evidence for each claim respectively, not affirming the consequent fallacies, by the way. And please don't poison the well in your opener. That would be great as well. What is science? Well, we have a scientific method, right? And it's pretty much the same. Doesn't really matter where you go. It's going to boil down to 5 or 6 steps: observation, hypothesis, test, repeat your experiment, make sure it's repeatable, and make sure it follows the scientific method completely. I'm going to skip through a bunch of this. We all hopefully know what an experiment is. Hopefully, independent and dependent variables, right? Your cause has to have an effect, or your effect has to have a cause. Cause and effect is one of the most fundamental concepts in science. Falsifiability is also important. Your science has to be falsifiable, meaning it has to have the ability to be disproven. Pseudoscience is anything that alleges to be science but doesn't follow a complete scientific method. Of course, I'm paraphrasing, but this is linked from Britannica. That's what they say. So I'm going to go through microwaves, particularly LoRaWAN. This is just like a rough estimate of how much curvature should be between the boat and the buoy. Obviously, microwaves travel line of sight, or maybe that's not obvious for if you guys are not familiar, but this would be impossible on a globe. I'm sure I'm going to hear some wild responses in response, but it is what it is. 80 miles of missing curvature. Did I lose you? Okay, never mind. My thing glitched out real quick. All right, microwaves penetrate haze, light rain, snow, clouds, and smoke. They're not typically refracted, right? Unlike lower frequency radio waves, they cannot pass around hills, mountains, like they can't diffract very well, and they do not refract very well or reflect. They actually aren't reflected off of atmospheres or much of any surface very easily. It depends on the frequency, but this is all stuff that we're going to save for later. I have quite a lot. We're going to get into sonar as well. That is my secondary claim. It's a technique that sound propagation used to navigate, communicate, or detect objects on or under the water's surface. We use bathymetry to map out the oceans, study of measurement of underwater depth of ocean layer or river floors. And we're going to talk about convergence zones, but I will save that for later. The main point that I want to get into right here is that they use a 3D Cartesian coordinate system to map this out. They use Euclidean geometry. Google that if you're not familiar. I don't have time to explain it. We also do swathing, which we'll have to get into in regards to sonar as well. I have a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm just mostly going to skip over. Aviation, I didn't really spend a lot of time on. I'm actually just going to wing it, pun intended. But we do treat the Earth like it is a flat stationary plane when we fly aircraft. We make no physical corrections for Earth curve or Earth motion. MCToon said that himself effectively, that being Coriolis. Most common considerations of motion about straight and level flight. Straight and level flight assumes a flight in a horizontal plane at a constant altitude, whatever the subsequent motion of the aircraft might be. The attitude is determined with respect to the horizontal. They treat sea level like a datum. And this is actually from a flight manual that I will briefly show you guys, flight dynamics principles that I found online. A lot of them say this, even in the index, they say flat Earth. Couldn't find the word sphere in there at all, actually, which I thought was funny. I have a couple other things that say flat non-rotating Earth. You guys have probably seen it, or if you haven't, this might be your first time. Yeah, we treat the Earth like it's flat and non-rotating. My name's Solly. I'm here for my first time. I concede the rest of my time, bro.
All right, appreciate that. So, Toon, if you want, I mean, we have a longer than average. Could you stop sharing your screen slowly? Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was caught up in the moment.
All good. You did just fine. Okay. So if Toon, you want to go over your other couple points, we got a lot of time to cover, just so that doesn't get completely skipped over anything that we could contend on here in the debate. All I ask that you guys don't talk over each other, or else no one gets to hear. That's kind of the main thing that would make me want to switch to timed responses, which 90 minutes is a long time to do timed responses. So as long as we can be cordial, respectful, I think we can get a lot out of this. So with that being said, if you want to take it from here.
Sure, I'd appreciate that. My second one here is measuring the ground. So let me share this. Are you seeing that? You got that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So after going to Antarctica and showing that the sun did rotate 24 hours a day, something impossible for flat Earth, something that for 175 years flat Earthers have said doesn't happen, doesn't exist, said that it would be impossible and that it would, I mean, all sorts of things for years. And anyway, and in the year and some months since then, nobody has produced any explanation for flat Earth. How do you look south and see the sun? How do the sunspots look the same? How is the sun the same angular size? The best they have is a dome with the camera outside the dome, looking toward the inside of the dome, which isn't at all what anybody claims flat Earth is like. So anyway, so let's but since then they're like, oh, well, you can't use the sky. Like, oh yes, of course you can, but okay, let's give it a shot. Let's use the ground here. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure the distance between 2 points on the surface of the Earth. We're going to have a hypothesis for the globe, just like Sully said. We're going to do science here. We're going to apply the globe Earth model to predict the distance, and we're going to We're going to apply the flat Earth model to predict the distance, and whichever one matches is the one that is confirmed. And if it doesn't match, then it's falsified. So for the globe Earth, what I'm going to use the Haversine formula, the exact formula that's in Flat Earth Dave's app. That on the screen is a screenshot of his code, the actual code from his app that somebody sent me. And for the flat Earth method, I'm going to use the Gleason map, which has it's on almost every flat earther's wall behind them while they're talking. It's on the cover of half of the flat Earth books, and it does give specific dimensions for that we can use to create a polar coordinate system. So that's what I do. Here's the formula on screen. And just to note, if this is not the right formula, then I want to know about it. Please send me the correct way to do it. I've been asking for years what it is, and nobody's ever provided anything other than just what's in the book, both Gleason's book and several other books, as well as Gleason's map. This is from his map right here. It says 60 miles to the degree. This is talking about 60 nautical miles to the degree latitude. So remember, I've been asking for years, if this is wrong, tell me. I don't want a straw man, but without giving the correct version, then this is it.
Can I? Falsification is independent of replacement. Continue.
Well, but you're not claiming falsification. You're claiming flat Earth. So
I'm waiting for you to finish monologuing and killing the clock, bro.
All right. So here is the test that I did. First one in Pensacola Beach. The 2 coordinates there. I got the globe prediction is 515 meters and the flat Earth prediction is 616.7 meters. It was measured to be 565 yards because the laser rangefinder measures in yards. That is 516.6 meters, which is spot on for the globe. So globe confirmed, flat Earth falsified. Did it again in Antarctica. Right here's this picture just from the video that we took in Antarctica. The flat Earth, the globe prediction is 67.7 meters. Flat Earth prediction is 1,124.8 meters. The actual measured distance is 67.7 meters. Once again, globe confirmed, flat Earth falsified. So there it is. The conclusion is the globe correctly predicts measurements of the ground. Flat Earth is drastically wrong, and the experiment is that the globe is confirmed. So, all right, I'll stop with that.
All right.
Okay.
So if you want to contend with any of those specific points, or maybe posit something to get started on your end.
Yeah. How did you repeat your experiment in Antarctica?
I did one in Antarctica, and I did one, at least that I've noted here, one in Pensacola Beach. So I've done it in two different places.
Yeah. How did you repeat your experiment in Antarctica?
I repeated it. When you repeat an experiment, it doesn't have to be in the exact same spot. That's not repeating an experiment. Repeating an experiment is doing an experiment in a similar manner, but potentially in a different location.
Oh, potentially. Okay. So is it the same atmosphere in Pensacola as it is in Antarctica?
Yes, it's air. Well, I don't know what you think might be
Same
different.
temperature, same refractive index.
Now, if you think that refraction has an effect on that laser rangefinder, then you can go ahead and show how that happens.
Explain it to me.
Lacking anything,
Don't insult. Don't do that. Don't do.
I'm just saying, lacking anything substantive from you, I'm not.
Right.
I'm gonna use Hitchens' razor. I'm gonna say that which is asserted without evidence is dismissed without evidence. If you think it's different, provide the evidence. If you don't, then I'll just ignore
Hitchens'
it.
razor that I sent you in the email
Yes,
when we
exactly.
started this whole thing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So I'm
okay,
gonna use Hitchens' razor.
So explain
on
to
you.
me. Okay, yeah, that's okay. I'll find an opportunity to use it as well, I promise. So explain to me what you did exactly, like precisely.
Real quick before you do that, if you could tune, is there any way to turn up on your end a little bit?
Oh yeah. Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, the audience is saying it's a little low.
Where'd it go? Sound. It seems to have changed. Oh no, there it is. There we go. How's that?
Much better.
All right, there we go.
All right. Would you want to repeat your question, Sol?
Yeah. Explain to me the process and series of events, please.
Sure. So we took GPS coordinates from a GPS at two different spots, and at each end of the track there, used the laser rangefinder to record the distance to the other side. I did it 4 times at each spot and took the average of them. The laser rangefinder is very consistent. It gave the same number each time. And so I was standing at one end with the instrument, and at the other end, person had a reflective. One had a reflective like vest, and the other had a reflective, just a square that's reflective. So we got the location, then we swapped them, so we had both directions measured. So we knew, so it was 4 at each location, so we had 8, averaged 8 to get that amount.
Explain to me and the audience what a rangefinder is.
Laser rangefinder sends a laser signal times the time of flight in both directions, and since we know the speed of light, we know how long it takes and how far away it is.
What direction were you facing?
Generally east-west. Both of them were east-west measurements.
Okay. Well, this is a bit of a non sequitur, but light has been proven to be anisotropic. It travels faster westward than it does eastward. That's admitted.
That which is asserted without evidence is dismissed without evidence.
Okay. Well, your anecdotal story of you standing in the cold with a rangefinder is that's not evidence either. You took a picture, bro. You know what I mean?
I took 8 distance measurements with an instrument that's precisely calibrated to measure distances.
It's anecdote.
No, it's not anecdote. It's scientific measurements.
It's anecdote.
All right. Good job, bro. Good job, bro.
Yeah, your sources literally trust me, bro.
No, my source is I used an instrument and I gave you screenshots of me using the instrument.
You gave a picture of you standing in a location that nobody's allowed to independently verify and test what you did for themselves.
In fact, people can go there. We went there. You can go there. Anybody can go there. I have $100,000 challenge to anybody. That's been unclaimed for people to go there. So that is obviously untrue.
Could you dial back just a little bit? Now I'm getting a couple of too loud comments.
All right.
Sorry. The chat's very vocal. I appreciate it, though.
It's all right.
Okay, so
above where you were, below where you are now.
I'm not acknowledging your anecdotal story. Like that's just not going to happen. You gotta give me
I
something
don't care for your nuh-uh. So a nuh-uh will be dismissed.
Okay, so we'll just dismiss that and move on. Is that okay?
You're dismissing it. I win. That's it.
I mean, dude, if you want to claim victory on your anecdote, that's fine. I'm more than ready to just crush you.
It's
on what
not.
I'm bringing anyway.
It's not an anecdote. It's a
I think
measurement.
you should Google the definition of the word anecdote. Can I share a screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So we were talking earlier about LoRaWAN, right? What's your practical explanation for LoRaWAN before I don't want to straw man you.
Well, when you said that microwaves do not refract, reflect, or diffract, that was incorrect.
Oh. So where is it? So ebsco.com/research starter science is incorrect. This is just this is a genetic fallacy, I suppose.
I would say that is incorrect. Yeah.
Okay. So again, just instead of obfuscating, what's your practical, demonstrable in reality explanation for this transmission particularly?
So I just want to be clear. This is not an anecdote. I mean, you weren't there, right?
Can you answer my question?
But I just want to make sure what is and is not an anecdote, because if this evidence is something that you accept, you weren't there, you don't have photographs, you don't know the name of any of the people that were there. This seems to me a lot less. This seems a lot less supported than what I did when I was actually physically there. You weren't physically there. No, what I'm doing is I'm examining your standard of evidence here. So if you are taking this as valid evidence, if you're taking this,
I knew you were.
Would you stop talking over me? You're talking over me here.
I asked you a question.
I was answering and you're talking over me.
You did not answer my question.
I was answering and you were talking over me.
Put your emotions away, dude. It's a debate. Be logical. Left hemisphere of your brain, brother.
All right. So is this just anecdotal information?
No. It's
okay.
testable.
How did you determine that this was not an anecdote?
Because we do this all the time. I can show you plenty of others.
Who's we?
Everyday people, bro.
You did this?
Everyday people.
But you weren't there. No, this is question, bro. This. I just want to say, if this is not anecdote, then mine is significantly better because I was there. I can name the people that were there. Anybody can go to Antarctica. Anybody can go to Pensacola Beach and do it themselves.
Okay. So how did this happen?
How did this anecdote happen? All right. So this anecdote happened because microwaves do in fact refract and reflect, and they diffract. I don't know why your source says that, but it's definitely wrong.
They fill in after they go in. Like if a mountain is obstructing it, they fill back in.
Yes.
And where's the evidence of that?
Diffraction is something that's well known, but I can definitely show you that if you want to let me share my screen.
No, I really want an answer to my question. I'm tired of you playing like.
I already answered your question. Yes, so diffraction happens, refraction happens, reflection happens.
So refraction.
You won't let me share my screen to show the information.
No.
Yeah, let's. I mean,
that's your answer.
We can give him a proper response here. I was trying to let you guys hash it out here for a second before I stepped in, but I do want to give fair time to both.
Yeah, this is like I feel like I'm not being given a straight. Are you claiming refraction, like tropospheric ducting? Like what are you claiming?
So, as soon as you're ready for me to answer the question, I'll share my screen and answer the question.
Sully, can you reduce
Oh,
your
I'm
screen
sorry.
for a minute?
You gotta remind me, bro. You gotta remind
Okay.
me. Sorry.
Okay. I thought you were trying to click on it. All right. Whenever you're ready.
All right, here we go. So microwave ducting does in fact happen. And so here is the record that you're talking about here.
Uh-huh.
And
Oh, the one that's anecdotal.
All right. So while you're interrupting me, Mike, I won't be able to hear.
Yeah, Sully, can you mute your
Okay.
mic while
So
he
here
does his
is
responses?
the page on the record. We can see here there's a picture of a buoy and a picture of a boat. And it talks about that there were 3 packets received. Here is the actual hardware that was used right here. This is a 868 megahertz. It's a quarter wave monopole antenna. So, and it maxes at 25 milliwatts. Now, there's a problem with the 25 milliwatts. So what happens is a ship sets buoys in the water, and then it uses the LoRaWAN to talk to the buoys to know where they are so that it can go get the nets. And those send constantly pings. And so over the course of many, many hours, only 3 packets were received. Now, if the Earth were flat, there would be nothing ever changing so that it would always be able to get there. The receiver was not the boat or the buoy. The receiver was actually on La Palma Island, one of the Canary Islands, and it's on the north side of the volcano. And the elevation is let's see here, what is it? 650 to 700 meters. It's right in this vicinity here, and there's the total track there, because up near Lisbon was where the transmitter was. So now let's talk about how that happens. Here is it's actually, we're going to talk about the link budget real quick. That this was done by Dan O. He's an expert in this field, and Dan O has done the analysis on the 25 megawatt transmitter, and it is not actually possible for the transmission to get there. It's not powerful enough without some type of gain applied to it. Now, because the antenna is omnidirectional, there's no gain on the antenna. Something needs to happen. So if the Earth were flat, it would be impossible to get there. Well, we'll come back to that. Here's a paper on the tropospheric ducting effects on AIS signals in the Canary Islands. Very much to the point, a paper that's studying this topic in depth. Here is a diagram from the paper. In the paper, we can see that microwave tropospheric ducting does in fact happen, and it does bounce off of things. Now, this isn't likely what was happening. I'll show you in a second what probably is happening here, because this talks about it here. It says tropospheric ducts are characterized by their intensity, which is difference between the maximum and minimum values, by their thickness, defined as the difference between the maximum and minimum heights. So, and the thicker ducts are capable of confining waves of lower frequencies. This is important. I don't know if we'll get into that or not, but here is a diagram that's more appropriate. You can see that the ducting happens where you've got these 2 layers, a lower layer and an upper layer. This happens right off of the coast there because of the hot air from the Sahara Desert sitting higher than the cool air above the surface of the water.
After this one, Toon, we're gonna have to turn
and
back.
let me
gotta keep our
show you
our
in
responses
particular
shorter.
these black lines here. These black lines here increase the signal. It makes it stronger. It's a higher gain effectively. So we've got we're almost done here. The climatology, marine atmospheric refraction effects. Here's a map. This is the Navy that has mapped this out for decades. Specifically, we're looking at 110 there. And here is the details on 110. And I'll just show you here. This box here, the frequency 1 gigahertz, you see that? That's just above the 868 megahertz. And the likelihood of a duct happening during the day is 47% of the time. 40% of the time. During the night, 15, the average is 27% of the time. I'll leave it there. It talks about the specific elevation of the duct and other things like that, but we can do more detail when we need to there. All right.
Yeah, Sully, he had about 2-3 minutes of response there. I'd say it'd be fair to give you that. If there is a pertinent point to jump in there, I feel free, Tunes, but just want to be fair there. I mean, a lot of the chat on your end is saying that your stream is frozen. I just want
I did not. I had not switched my screen. I noticed just at the end there.
got it.
Okay. So if we're talking about tropospheric ducting, we're talking about k equals infinity, okay? Where the propagation happens at the exact same rate that the spherical Earth is curving beneath of it. So it's effectively parallel with the Earth. They actually the K factor, for those of you guys who are unfamiliar, is what they assume the Earth's radius to be. Okay. So they have to effectively make the Earth's radius infinite and flatten out the Earth as a result. Because obviously, if you have a sphere and you make the radius value of that sphere infinite, well, it flattens out. So that is effectively what my opponent is suggesting. And he doesn't realize this yet, but that was actually a setup. I wanted him to say tropospheric ducting. Took him a while to say it. That was a lot of words. I could simplify it in two, but whatever. Here we are. A lot of information. K equals infinity is actually a flat Earth. They map it out in like path loss and length planner. They actually change the sphere. They give it an infinite radius value, and they flatten out the ball. So you have to assume that the Earth is flat in order to even make this work, when the claim is, in fact, that the microwave frequency transmission is bending around the ball. But that's not how they map it out. They don't touch the frequency. They actually keep it perfectly level. And I have images of that somewhere in here too. I'm sorry. This is like a mumbled mess. So this is UISP Design Center. You can go here and you can plot your own microwave frequency transmission. So I, for the sake of argument, did an 830-mile one. It's not in the right location. You can, according to MCToon, that's okay. So I can do it too, right? But this is effectively what would happen, right? You would have a big bulge of Earth from point A to point B. So they flatten that out. They make the Earth flat after the fact, right? That's what I've come here to bring to you guys. They don't even change the transmission. They just flatten out the Earth. So I'd like an explanation for this as well.
All right, Toon, I appreciate you letting him get that full response out. And I asked Sully, you do the same for this one here. That'd be great.
Yeah, well, so as I mentioned, there's one thing is mapping it out in geometry. It's a whole different thing to actually just go there and spend decades, like the Navy did, documenting whether or not there is ducting, when it happens, and what frequencies and heights it happens, which is exactly what the Navy did. And they have documented it for different areas of the world, including specifically off of the Canary Islands there. And that's the last thing that I showed you, which was showing that 40% of the time during the day, there is tropospheric ducting happening in that region. In the July-September range, which is when that particular event happened. So 40% of the time that happened. Now, when the transmitter was transmitting, thousands and thousands of packets of pings were sent. Only 3 made it. So all it needed was a very lucky chance to make it. But for some reason, if the Earth were flat, that all of them would make it, because there's nothing in the way, right? It should happen all the time. It shouldn't matter what time of year it is. It shouldn't matter what the temperature is, because there's nothing in the way. It should always get there.
Is it my turn? Yeah, no, that's not possible, right? Does light attenuate, MCToon? Does it attenuate?
Of course it does.
Oh.
Yeah,
why would it travel forever? No.
Yeah, the link budget talked about that.
Why would it travel forever?
Light does travel forever.
In a medium? You just said it attenuates.
It also attenuates. It never gets to zero. Do you not know how inverse square law works? Inverse square law means that it never gets to zero.
Okay. Does it attenuate though?
Inverse square law is how it attenuates.
I'm familiar with the inverse square law of light, bro. I don't need you to treat me like, I know you might like, okay, right? So I know I'm like new. You might think I'm like some low tier flat earther, bro. I assure you that's actually, I kind of set you up with this. I'm like more advanced than you probably give me credit for. And that's cool, bro. It's actually just a setup, right? Just like the tropospheric ducting thing was a setup. You weren't prepared to respond to that. You have yet to respond to that, actually. Instead, you chose to straw man my position and say that, like, if the Earth was flat, it would travel forever. That's not possible. Light simply does not travel forever in a medium. And you won't even agree to that. You say it doesn't get to zero. Well, nothing technically gets to zero then by your own knowledge, right? By your own logic, right?
By inverse square law, nothing gets to zero.
I can agree with that in just simple terms of like quantification, sure. But like you insinuating that it would just go forever and ever and ever and always be able to be received, it would eventually not be able to be received as well. It would still attenuate.
So why weren't all of the packets? So all of the packets should have made it, or none of the packets should have made it if the Earth were flat.
Light attenuates over distance. That's the inverse square law.
Okay, so it should have attenuated. So 100% of them should have attenuated before it got there. Is that what you're saying?
100% of them? Why?
Well, you're saying light attenuates. So should all of them have attenuated, or should none of them have attenuated?
They did this over the span of like 8 hours. You're aware of that, right?
None of the documentation I saw talked about the time frame.
Yeah, it was over 8 hours and they got three things. Yeah, you know that it got three things, but you didn't read.
Thousands. The documentation didn't say how long it was transmitting, but there are thousands of packets sent in that time frame. So why were only 3 out of thousands received?
It was a world record, bro. That's why.
You didn't answer the question. Why only 3 out of thousands?
It's a rare occurrence.
Why is it rare? If the Earth is flat, it should be consistent.
So light doesn't attenuate if the Earth is flat.
Either it does have enough power to transmit that distance, or it does not have the power to transmit that distance. There's nothing in the way, according to you. So why would not all of them get there if some of them got there?
Okay.
What caused it? What caused some of them to fail to get there?
I'm gonna start calling out the sophistry, bro. You don't have to poison the well and straw man me and like appeal to ignorance. You don't have to do all of that every single time you speak. That's a significant.
No, I'm asking you to provide evidence for your claim. All you need to do is provide evidence for your claim. Why did not all of the packets get there if it's enough?
If it's over an 8 hour.
If it's powerful enough, then all of the packets should have got there.
See how I'm like waiting for you to finish after you interrupt me, remember? Like you told me about like not interrupting you, bro. Like kind of want the same respect here, man. Like
well, I asked that of both of you. Solely, if we could, we just want to keep the meta conversation to a minimum so we stay on topic there. I understand how you might feel, but we're gonna get tense. It's gonna get heated. Just try to, do your best on staying with it. And we can go all day on the analyzation of the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like that's going to happen.
Poison the well, right? Like he's allowed
not necessarily saying that. I'm just trying to keep it on track here, because I mean,
Okay.
if we get into a back and forth on the meta, we're never gonna get to any of the other points, and I just want to let you guys get all that out.
Okay, well, I don't get to any of my points if I'm interrupted every time I speak either. Not you, but him. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, everybody, if you guys could just, as best you can, just let them get both sides out there. The conversation point right now, were you about to hit a different topic?
Me?
No. Or we're gonna stay on this specific one here.
I was just pointing out that he couldn't make a single remark without being a sophist in the process, and I will say that. I will acknowledge that because it's almost insulting to the intelligence of the audience, right?
I get it. I'm just trying to keep that to a minimum. That's all.
No, I'm not though. I'm not going to keep it like I'm going to respond how I want to respond. I want to.
No,
that's to
you can respond how you want to respond. Just focus more on the response than the analyzation of his response. That's going to help us out a lot.
Yeah, it's going to help us not call out his sophistry. Okay, cool. So light does attenuate over distance, right? We agree to that. MCToon?
Yeah, the link budget that I presented showed that it actually should never make it if the Earth were flat.
Based on what?
Based on the link budget.
Explain that.
So there is a certain amount of transmission power that you can compute using the type of antenna that is involved there. It's an omnidirectional quarter wave monopole antenna, and it sends out a certain amount of power. And at that distance, using the inverse square law, it is too far away to receive at all when it's just an omnidirectional antenna. You need some sort of gain increase in order to get the signal that far. On flat Earth, what is that gain increase coming from?
I don't know. I can't tell you that. I don't have all of that information, but I want to backtrack a little bit to where you dodged my question, right? We map it out in link planner and path loss and other networks and other mathematical models for what we call a sphere using an infinite radius value. You actually have to flatten out the Earth just to make it work mathematically. In theory, right? Like you don't even bend the microwave in the model, you flatten the Earth. Can you explain to me why we might do something like that?
I didn't do that. That's something that you did that's completely separate from what I did. So I don't need to respond to what I didn't present. I don't know how this particular software did anything. It doesn't matter though, because I've shown documentation that there are measurements that microwave transmissions do get ducting in that vicinity at that time of year and in that location.
Okay. And I showed you that tropospheric ducting is when they turn the K value, the effective Earth radius, infinite.
K is not the effective Earth radius.
Yes, it is.
No, K is the coefficient of refraction.
No, I'll show you, bro. It's the if pretend Earth radius, bro. K equals the.
They can see your screen.
Right. You're right. It's the it's what they pretend the Earth's radius is divided by the actual radius. Okay, and this gives you I'm in the way here. Sorry, gives you a factor here, and if it's less than negative 1.57, they make it 0, and you can't divide by 0, right? You can't divide anything by 0; it'll make it infinite. And yeah, this is ChatGPT, but there's dude, I did so much research on this. It's insane.
So your research is ChatGPT. All right.
No, Steelman what I just said, please.
Good job, bro.
No, repeat back what I said after
so
that.
What you did is you did not know.
Don't do that.
Well,
don't do that.
You asked me to Steelman you. You asked me to Steelman me.
Steelman this.
You interrupted as soon as I started Steelmanning you.
Steelman what I said after, though.
Nah. You interrupted me when I started Steelmanning you already. That's not how you get me to Steelman you, bro. You shut your face hole when I start talking after you ask me a question, bro.
Okay. Now what? Steelman it.
What you did is you didn't understand the topic well, so you went to ChatGPT to try to figure out the topic. You didn't understand that K is the coefficient of refraction. You thought K was the radius of the Earth. It's not. Now, in the stuff that I presented, I did not use the coefficient of refraction in the particular documentation that I showed. It was just simply an empirical measurement of whether or not ducting happens at that particular location at that particular frequency. It is as empirical as it gets. Zero, in this instance, zero mathematical application of any model at all. Just send a signal. Does ducting happen? Yes, it does.
Okay. So if your claim is that a duct is what's causing this, then in order to map that out in link planner and path loss, we literally have to treat the Earth like it's flat.
That's literally not the case.
You still need the screen up, Sully?
Provide evidence that it's not the case, please.
So literally all you need to do is go out to the field, like the Navy did for decades, send transmissions at certain frequencies, go to some other location and see if you can get that through ducting. Yes or no? Yes, it was the answer 40% of the time during the day in those months. That's what happens. How do you measure a duct? How do you measure a duct? So when it goes a different distance based on the conditions. So you can measure a duct. Oh no. Oh, you're telling me in the middle of my answer, you're telling me no. I'm answering. This is where you don't talk. Okay? Zip it.
Calm down, bro. It's not that bad.
Zip the mouth. Zip it.
Relax.
Zip the mouth. Okay? So
you measure the atmosphere before you
I don't get to answer then.
You can give your full response after his just be be a little
I
bit
don't
more
want the
patient
audience
there.
to think the Earth
Zip
is
your
flat.
mouth hole. Shush. Okay. Okay. Here's how you measure a duct. At the radiosonde, they have different temperatures that they measure vertically. And so a duct happens when you've got cold air low, warm air high. So you've got in that vicinity, it's really nice because it's right next to the Sahara Desert. So you've got the cool air from the water and the hot air from the Sahara Desert coming over top. So you measure the duct by measuring the temperature. And because you know that when there's a steep temperature gradient, you're going to get a duct on that intersection. That's how you measure the existence of a duct physically.
All right,
You
go
wanna
for it,
see-
Sully.
Okay, like I feel like it's a good time to just kind of go through the math, bro. Like you take your atmospheric refractive index, which is N, and you calculate that by 0.776 times pressure over temperature. Okay. And then you add then you do 3730 times water vapor divided by temperature squared. You caught up?
I muted him so you can just go ahead and get this out. So if you're asking rhetorical questions, I would just get to the main question you want him to answer, and then I'll unmute him for you. So there's no interruptions.
Well, I just want to clarify that this takes place before the launching of a transmission. That way they know that they can make it, right? But they also add the number in question to the refractive index, turning it into a modified refractivity, right? And then they don't even use that in the atmosphere. When they map it out in path loss, they literally don't even use it. They just fluctuate the radius of the Earth after the fact, post hoc rationalization. After they realize that their microwave went way too far, they fluctuate the radius value of the Earth, make it infinite in most cases, for cases like this, and treat the Earth like it's flat.
All right.
That's it.
Cool. Go ahead and respond to that, please. I got you unmuted. Or I'm asking you to unmute on your end.
Yep. So when they are doing the applying the coefficient of refraction, this is just modeling. So none of this is stating what shape the Earth is, but what it is doing is it's showing that the radius. It's not saying that it's flat. I don't know why I keep saying that. It's saying that the radius of the arc of the path that the light or the photon is taking is equal to the radius of the Earth. That's what's happening when it's right at k equals 1.0. That's what happens if you actually look at the model that's happening. So it's actually the opposite of what you're saying.
What is k equals infinity then?
K, I don't know what k equals infinity is. It's never happens.
What
K
would
equals
a ball
one.
look like?
K equals 1, I think, is what you're thinking of.
They usually use k equals 4/3
No,
in situation.
no,
Yeah.
not 4/3.
That's atmospheric refraction. Yeah,
No.
that is.
It's
I can
what
show
you're
you.
thinking of is you're thinking of plus 0.167. Yeah.
No, 4/3 equals 1.33. That's a clip, bro. Oh my God. Okay, so they usually use 4/3. They almost never use 1.
They don't use k equals 4/3.
I thought I was talking. Can you shut your mouth hole, please? Thanks, bud. Appreciate it. So they use 4/3 in most cases because that's when you would actually incorporate refraction, right? If it was traveling right along the Earth's surface, you wouldn't even need it because that would be your k equals 1.0, which means it would be the exact same radius of the globe and there wouldn't need to be any adjustment. When they actually have to adjust for refraction, they do 4/3, and I can show you all of that too. I spent 2 weeks that you dodged me. I spent 2 weeks. Look, I spent 2 weeks looking into this. You gave me additional time, bro. Do you have a retort for that, or do you want me to show you?
Yep. So k is the coefficient of refraction, and it starts at 0. 0 is there's no refraction happening, no variation in the radius of the arc of the light.
Yeah.
A 0.167 is 7/6R, which is not 7/6. K equals 7/6. It's k equals 0.167 is equivalent to a radius of 7/6R. And that's where you're getting confused because you don't quite have the depth in this topic. Now that is what typically
I've offered to show you.
Quiet. That is typically what surveyors are said that they can use if they don't know the specific conditions, though they're often said that it should be, you know, nominal refractive conditions. You want overcast temperature if you want.
Just conflate
now
microwave frequencies with surveying.
Yeah, it's similar refraction. So
they use different formulas, bro.
K is the same formula for both. So
no,
and then all right, hold on a second. I'm still talking.
You don't want to be wrong.
The American Meteorological Society uses 0.33 for K for when they're doing their particular stuff. But K, the coefficient of refraction can be any variable, any amount up to 1 or even more than that. And on my website, MCToon.net/refraction, I have some papers where people measured refraction of higher than K equals 1.0, which is pretty significant refraction, including they've also measured in rare cases a negative K value.
No.
All right.
So 7/6R would be 1.66, right? But 4/3 would be 1.33, which is what they use. And I can show you. Right, you have if the wave is bending down slightly, software for K equals 4/3. Whoa, how'd that get there, right? And we also have it is in here, and I actually linked this right here, urgent.com or urgentcom.com, sorry. K equals 2/3, which would be like sub refraction. They actually bend the Earth up when they model that out. I'd love to see that, actually. I think it's hilarious. And then they use K equals 4/3, which is the most common, right? And then they actually use K equals infinity when things just don't work on the globe anymore. They always, and this does not actually serve the use. They call it the refraction, right? That's what they call it. But they actually fluctuate the radius value in the programming, in the model, when you go to Link Planner and PathLoss and other sites that model this out, which is what you're failing to address and why you feel the need to like educate me every time you speak. Bro, you're cooked. It is what it is.
Okay, can you stop sharing your screen, please?
I was about to, brother.
Oh, thank you. You asked me to remind you, so that's why I'm doing it. All right, we're about 40 minutes in, guys. Like the video. This is a fun, contentious debate here. Get your tickets to DebateCon 8, and we got some memberships here that you can watch all those live streamed debates from the conference coming up in July if you can't make it here in Dallas, Texas. With that, Mr. Toon, go ahead and give your response. You need to share your screen at all?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
So they are using, you are correct in that they are using a different computation for K. That's a capital K instead of a lowercase k. That is the distinction. The lowercase k, it's confusing sometimes that they use just a separate case for that. But they do map between each other. Now, this is not actually fluctuating the radius of the Earth. This is talking about the radius of the path of light in relation to the surface of the Earth. And they use that because it's a convenient way to do things. That's all it's doing. They're not actually fluctuating the radius of the Earth. The radius of the Earth is fixed. It's well known. It's 6,371 kilometers. It's well known. So they're not varying that.
So then so then why don't they bend the frequency around the ball with a true Earth radius, right? When you have the ball with the true Earth radius attributed to it, you change the radius value of the globe as opposed to bending the transmission around it. Yes, that is objectively what they do.
That is not what they're doing in the math.
I've shown.
So you've studied this for 2 years. I've studied this for 8 years. Or you've studied for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I've studied for 8 years. Actually, This is what I studied at university.
And you didn't know the coefficient of K? Boom.
Boom.
Gotcha, bro.
Gotcha, bro. You didn't get me, bro.
All right, you can pick a topic. I'll concede on that. Or I won't concede, but like you don't have an argument, so we're gonna waste time on this. So,
all right, well, I measured the distance across the surface of the Earth. So what is the correct formula for flat Earth for the distance between 2 points across the surface of the Earth? Did I get it wrong, or is it a different way?
Falsification is an independent of replacement, and begging the question and affirming the consequence is not how you prove the Earth is a sphere.
No, well, I did in fact test if the Earth was a sphere, and it all worked. So done then, right? You have no response to the fact that I used the globe to predict the distance, and the distance was exactly what the globe predicted.
I don't have a response for trust me, bro. You're right. No, I don't.
It wasn't trust me, bro. You can go do it yourself.
I did this. Do you have something scientific?
Yes, that's what I
Did you
did.
bring enough for the whole class?
All right, so you don't have a rebuttal. Okay. Globe wins.
Yeah, I don't respond to anecdote, bro. I'm not like other flat earthers. I'm not going to sit here and waste my on time on something like petty like that. It's anecdotes. Trust me, bro. It's not worth anybody's time, bro.
So
Okay,
I'm a little confused about your standard of evidence here then. So it seems to me that your standard of evidence
I
is
scoured the
everything that you like is what you accept, and everything that you don't like is what you reject. That's what it seems like.
Poisoning the well. Got you. No, I scoured the internet for 2 weeks and found enough information to correct you on something that you said you went to college for. So I don't trust you. I don't trust your personal experience, your personal anecdote. It doesn't seem like you know what you're doing. You can pick
All
a
right.
next topic.
I already did. I already won. Globe wins. You don't have a rebuttal.
Oh, cool. We're going to talk about sonar then?
I already won. We're done. You don't have a rebuttal to the distance measurements that I did.
I'm not responding to your anecdote.
It's not an anecdote. Why would you think that it's an anecdote? I really was there.
Well, we do have quite a bit of time left.
Yeah.
Don't necessarily
Anybody
get
can
hung
do
up on
it.
This. You can
Just wave-
disagree.
I mean, he's
on-
waving the
on
white
that
flag
one.
here. Yeah. All right. Well, I showed measurements of Coriolis then.
I will put up a poll, by the way, guys, towards the end here. So all these things, I'm not going to call either of you out whether, I believe this is a concession, that's a concession, or anything like that. But I will let the audience decide in the poll. So if you want to send anyone that way towards the end here, we do have about, about 30 minutes or so?
Cool. Yeah, we can talk about Coriolis. I'm cool with that.
Another,
All right.
another 35.
Go ahead.
So I can share my screen here if you'll let me.
Go ahead.
All right. So here is the measurements done by Stephen P. And I sped up the video, but you can see on the left here where he did 4 different tests of 2 minutes each to measure the Coriolis. So the way he did this is using a gyroscope. And so a gyroscope is rigid in space, but he did lock it to one axis and measured. Oh, in this one, he didn't actually lock it to one axis. It doesn't matter in this instance. And he measured the amount of angular change. He did this at 48.2 degrees north latitude. The globe predicts that there should be 11.2 degrees per hour drift at that latitude. And of course, the flat Earth, I think, claims 0 drift. And so he did 4 tests here, and he got an average of 10.3 degrees per hour. And the globe prediction is 11.1. So it's right there, very close to the globe prediction. Now, gyroscope is imperfect, and the larger it is and the faster it spins, the higher quality. This is an amateur version, so it's pretty good quality, but not super high. So anyway, so we've got a measurement of Coriolis that matches the globe prediction. So we see then that globe is confirmed.
Okay. Classic affirming the consequent. What was that made of? What materials?
What material was the gyroscope made out of?
Yeah.
Some sort of brass, I think.
Okay. So if it was in motion, because that's what gyros do, they move, right? It would have eddy currents by the Lorentz force, right?
Only if there's a strong magnet in the vicinity.
Oh, you mean like the electromagnetic field that we live in?
I said a strong magnetic current.
Hmm.
That's
How
not
much did
strong.
it deflect again? How much did it deflect by?
10.3 degrees per hour.
Yeah, that's not a lot. It's not a lot.
That's exactly what the globe predicts.
Yeah, that's still not a lot, right? You'd agree that that's not a lot. 10 out of 360. That's not that many, right?
It's the right amount. There's no magnitude that's right or wrong, or a
It's the
lot
right
or not
amount
a
for
lot.
your it's the right amount for your begging the question fallacy. But how did you control for the electricity in the electromagnetic field of the Earth? How did you control for that?
Well, what do you think it would cause in that there?
Eddy currents. Eddy currents.
Okay, and how much eddy currents do you expect in the small
I'm
nano
not making the claim. I don't know. That's shifting the burden of proof isn't going to work on me, bro. I'm not your average foot. I asked you,
Okay.
how did you control? How did you control?
Okay. Because they're too small.
Because they're too small.
Yeah.
So how small are they?
Nano Tesla scale.
So how did you control for it?
So they're too small. Yeah, you don't get eddy currents of significant magnitude in nano Tesla scale magnetic fields.
Okay. What about like you sure? I don't know how to respond to that, bro.
Yeah, I'm
not
sure.
gonna lie to you. Yeah, yeah. I've never seen that before. I was assuming you were going to bring up like Foucault's pendulum. I didn't prepare for that. Your messages to me were like explicitly vague, you know, like you kept me in the dark about as much as possible, and that's fine. But I didn't get a response to
You
my questions either.
you gave me 3 words as your topics. I gave you 3 words as my topics.
Do you want me to show the D? I mean, I guess you're not entirely wrong. That's true. But 2 of your topics were the exact same. You realize that, right?
No.
No. So 8 inches per mile squared and measuring distance is not really the same thing.
No, they're not.
We're gonna get into
not at all.
This,
not even close.
I'd have to do more research into that, but if it is moving within an electromagnetic field, which it objectively is, you would have eddy currents that would displace it and cause it to move in one direction or another. Probably at the velocity that the electromagnetic field moves.
Probably. Okay, that's a good guess. I'm sure you could ask ChatGPT for 2 weeks. So the other thing that
so you're going to keep going back to that, even though I've objectively sourced all of my other evidence.
So cool. The other thing that it wasn't apparent in the video, but he did reverse the direction of the gyroscope, and so both tests. Each of those 4 measurements had 2 tests in it, and it took the average of those 2. So if it's eddy currents, then it would reverse the direction of the flow of the rotation when it does the second test, because it's rotating in the opposite direction, but it did not. It rotated in the same direction.
Right. I did not see that in the video. No, I did not.
Yep. So
right, we got
Stefan. For anybody curious, the YouTube channel Stefan P. He has a full hour and some video of it. I just showed a portion of it there, and you can see all of the details yourself.
Okay. So he's smarter than Einstein, then, I guess.
No.
No. Like when Einstein said there was no terrestrial experiment that you could conduct to prove that the Earth was in motion, he just got lucky?
Well, this is different. So Einstein was specifically referring to the motion of the Earth around the sun, not the Earth rotating on its axis.
The other argument that I have for you is like Mach's principle, right? Like if you like Newton's bucket experiment, if you have a bucket in rest and sidereal day is moving around it, it would have a residual net force, right? And I don't have to explain that to you, I'm hoping, but maybe the audience isn't familiar. So like the Mach's principle is in effect, like if the Earth was stationary and everything was fixed in like a firmament of some kind above us, and it was all moving around, it would have a residual effect on things such as gyroscopes, Foucault's pendulum, potentially even like bullets, things of that nature.
So Mach's principle is just a hypothesis. It is just a guy's idea. There is no empirical confirmation. Just a sec. There's no empirical confirmation of it. So back to Hitchens' razor, that which is asserted without evidence is dismissed without evidence.
So that was the last point. You got any more tunes that you want to cover here?
Well, I think it's gone pretty well here.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have to overly mute anybody. That was good. I I feel like people get involved with what they believe, and I want to give them the most time, and we're getting there. So we do have a good amount of time left. If there's anything else you guys want to cover, or we could go to the Q&A in about 5 minutes or so,
I,
if there is something.
yeah, I haven't done Sonar yet. I have
Oh,
like 30
all right.
slides on Sonar.
Well, yeah, I mean, the point was to get your guys' three main points out and discuss those. So let's get into that.
Cool. So Sonar, we talked about earlier, we use a three-dimensional Cartesian coordinate system, Euclidean geometry to map out all of the oceans. We also have internal measurement instruments. This is a combination of gyroscopes, accelerometers, and of course magnometers. I can never pronounce that word, forgive me. But we actually assume I don't know where my slide is on that, but we assume sea level is a datum, right? So it's a theoretical reference point. We assume sea level is the datum for our mapping of all of this, because you need to have a starting point. Sea level works sufficiently because it's level, of course. And we also do what is called swathing, which is where they send out like V waves. And this instrument right here, EdgeTech 6205, can do it up to 1,475 feet. I found that to be very interesting. And then I found the C-beam and the hydro sweep, they can go up to 5 miles, just one swath. It's very interesting, and 8 miles respectively, just one single swath. Again, using a three-dimensional Cartesian coordinate system and purely Euclidean geometry to map this out process, right? And then of course the C mark, which I think is like the globe killer, to be honest, up to 21 miles if you do the math respectively. And I can leave it on screen for a sec for if anybody wants to double check it. But we assume Euclidean, we map it Euclidean, we use geodesy to like kind of bend it around the ball. We use like, there's your 7/6R, by the way. That's when we would use that. But we bend the ball. We use like WGS 84, the latitude, longitude of the Earth, of the globe, right? To like try to make it fit. But we map it out using Euclidean geometry and using sea level as a datum. And we, of course, go 21 miles. And I have some other things that I could get into, but we maybe get a response on this first.
I don't know how that had anything to do with the shape of the Earth. You've just documented how different things are mapped. You said that you made a point of 3D Cartesian geometry for some reason, as if and Euclidean geometry, as if that's an issue. I don't know why that's an issue at all. There's no problem. Yeah, there's
datum.
The datum. What like?
Yeah, don't straw man me, bro.
Like WGS 84.
No.
What,
Do you know what datum
well,
is?
let's let him get his full response out there. I don't think he was finished.
I don't know what specific datum are you talking about, because there's a lot of different datums.
But yeah, if he's cool with riding with it, I try to go with the flow on that. I don't want to be too controlling.
The one that I mentioned 2 separate times, I said we use sea level as a datum.
Yeah, but there's a lot of different sea level datums. So which specific sea level datum are you talking about? For example, are you talking about WGS 84? You're talking about NAD 83? Are you talking about, I mean, you could go to
I mentioned WGS 84.
Okay, so WGS 84 is an ellipsoid.
Did you listen?
Yeah, and so that's why I'm trying to be specific here. So WGS 84 is an ellipsoid. What about it?
We assume sea level to be our relative horizontal, and we actually assume the ocean floor to be parallel to it, and then we map it out using Euclidean three-dimensional Cartesian coordinate systems.
Okay.
That's literally how you do it. And then you take geodesy. I'm giving you your argument, bro. You take geodesy, you use 7/6R, you bend the Earth a little bit on your ellipsoid, right? And then we try to make it fit. And if it doesn't fit, we just bend the Earth a little bit more or contort it however necessary. It's the same thing we did with microwaves, and you couldn't address that either. So that's where I'm getting at.
So what you've just described there is a very confusing jumble of not how things are done. But the datum of WGS 84 is an ellipsoid. It is curved. So the datum is curved. It's not flat. It's not horizontal at any, right? No, it's not begging the question. The ellipsoid, the WGS 84 is an ellipsoid. There's no begging of any questions there. That's what WGS 84 is. And so if you're happy to use WGS 84, I am too. It's an ellipsoid. It's shaped like a globe.
I said they do that post-process, and then they map it into charts, which are flat maps, right? So they go through all of this. They map it out using Euclidean three-dimensional Cartesian coordinate systems, right? They take it parallel. They assume the datum of sea level. I got to say that one more time. The datum of sea level to be parallel with the ocean floor to do the mapping, right? Then they take it into geodesy. They incorporate 7/6R. They fluctuate your ellipsoid as needed. Okay.
I don't
To
know where
make
you're
it,
getting the 7/6R in this particular methodology you're talking about. Was that in there?
yeah. I don't have a slide for that, but that is how
Okay.
geodesy works. Yeah.
It's geodesy.
Geodesy, semantics. If you don't have a response, that's cool,
No,
bro.
I'm just just helping you out there. It's pronounced geodesy. All right.
It's
So
pronounced datum.
all right, Mike, I'm going to
All right.
share my screen here. So when you're saying that the datum of WGS84 is parallel, it's not exactly parallel to the ground, but that's fine. Under the surface, that's fine. You can do that because within the coordinate system here it is. So you can see here we've got the level surface, which is a curve. In geodesy, a level surface is a curve.
Yeah.
And so we've got these three different curves here, and these three different curves are parallel to each other in these datum. So no problem there with them being parallel. This is exactly documenting what is the globe. You're using a datum, WGS84. You're finding that the surface of the bottom of the ocean has some relationship between that datum, generally following it, perfectly fine with the globe, that they're generally parallel to each other, just as the globe says. So I don't know why you seem to have a problem with that, and the fact that they use Cartesian coordinate system doesn't change anything. You can do you can convert between Cartesian coordinate systems and any other coordinate system if you want.
Yeah, you could post process, right? But you have to assume it local to your relative position in the beginning, and that's how they do it. They actually use multiple boats and ping off of each other, and they do widespread areas up to hundreds, if not thousands of square miles. I've seen documents that say they do it up to like 500-ish square miles. Again, assuming Euclidean, assuming that the Earth is that the horizontal datum of the sea level is parallel to the ocean floor.
It's not the
500
horizontal datum. The datum that you referenced, WGS84, is not a horizontal datum.
How do
It's-
you have a
it's-
non-horizontal datum on a Cartesian coordinate system?
It's an ellipsoid datum.
Yeah, but how do you have this is where you have to put it all together, right? So you have a 3D Cartesian coordinate system with two lines that are not parallel. Or how does that work?
What do you mean with two lines that are not parallel?
Well, perpendicularity is the biggest component in Cartesian coordinate systems, is it not?
No. There's no particular
So
thing
it's
that's
not
the
an
biggest.
XYZ axis all perpendicular to each other.
It is an XYZ axis, but perpendicularity isn't the key factor of it. It's just
Yeah.
one of the things that's used in mapping it out.
literally
But I don't know why the particular coordinate system chosen has anything to do with the shape of the Earth. You can
Because you have to
map
assume the
like,
Earth is level.
well, yeah, and I showed already. Well, can I share again, Mike?
Yes, sir.
All right. I agree. We have to. I'm happy assuming that the Earth is level. Level is a curve, right here. So here we go. From leveling, from the book, The Theory and Practice of Surveying, containing all the instructions requisite for the skillful practice of the art. Leveling is the true level is the curve conforming to the surface of the Earth as ABG in this diagram here. Here we have Merriam-Webster, the definition of level, having no part higher than another, conforming to the curvature of the liquid parts of the Earth's surface. Now, the rest of these things here, these are within the field of geodesy. Level is a curved surface. You can find these all at mctoon.net/level. This is basic surveying. So I don't know why you're pointing this out. I mean, this is exactly what the globe says. So the surface of the water is a curve. In geodesy, WGSE at 84 is a datum. It is a curve. You could use any of the other. There's multiple datums if you wanted. Clark ellipsoid or Bessel ellipsoid or NAVG 26. I mean, there's any of the different datums you want. They're all curved.
I guess my only other contention is how do you get a sonar frequency to travel 21 miles? And I have ones that travel much farther that I'd love to talk about.
Oh,
I haven't quite gotten.
Oh, that's not hard at all.
What about 18,000 kilometers? Would that be difficult?
No, not even a tiny bit. Nope.
Not even a tiny bit, right? Can you go through the process for me?
Sure.
Explain to me how
Sure.
sonar travels 18,000 kilometers, which is roughly half the circumference
Absolutely.
of your globe.
Mike, I'm just going to share again here.
Go for it.
All right. So here is a diagram of surface waves, which is an analog to sonar waves. They're both within water, and surface waves are vertical and sonar waves are longitudinal, but they're very similar there. So you can see here we've got waves coming in and then hitting this surface that's blocking it, but it doesn't just leave a stripe of waves going on the inside of that bay there. It actually spreads out, and this is an application of Huygens principle. Here we can see another diagram of it happening in with water breaks there. And then let me show you this here. Here's a real world one. So you can see the waves are coming in from kind of the bottom left and then hitting that corner there. And you can see the waves continue around the corner. They come in, they turn left. They don't just stop. And you don't just have a nothing of a wave in one area and a stripe of wave on the other area. So this is a very visual demonstration of diffraction, and within water, sonar diffracts a lot. It's super easy to diffract. It's much easier, much more prevalent than radar or microwaves or even light. So that's how it works. It's really easy.
I do agree with that. It also travels at about 4 to 5 times faster than the speed of sound. On Earth or up here in the atmosphere, sound travels faster.
In the water, yeah, because it's significantly denser. Yep.
So let's see. Did we talk about convergence zones? This is the only other thing that I would need you to address for me. I'm messing up here. I need to share my screen. So are you familiar with convergence zones? For the sake of the audience, I suppose I should explain it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Convergence zones, I'm going to read this bottom part down here just for the sake of simplicity. Convergence zones repeat at multiples of the range between the source and the first convergence zone. So in simple terms, it goes down and then it starts to refract back upwards because of the salinity content of the water and of course temperature, right? So it hits right about here at 30 kilometers, comes back up at 60, and then goes back down, starts to bend back up around 90, back up at like 120. So it's always in sequential sequences such as that. And this is what I would argue is like the biggest globe killer, or not necessarily the biggest, but we have convergence zones at like 30 in the Atlantic and 25, almost 40 in the Atlantic and 25 in the Mediterranean, sorry, quite often. This is actually pretty well documented. And then of course, those would be sequential as well. You'd have like 25, 50, 75, etc. Right. And we actually, the shot heard around the world in 1960, these guys dropped 200 and 300 pound explosive charges that were detonated just west of Perth. And these sounds from these explosions were detected by a hydrophone at the Observatory of Bermuda, 19,820 kilometers away. That is 12,300 miles. That is pretty much half of the globe.
Yep, no problem at all with the globe at all. With that, as I showed, diffraction within water is perfectly fine, as expected.
I just want the audience to hear you say that. That's all I want. That's all I wanted from this.
Yeah, as expected on the globe. So it's back to it's back to what I said at the beginning. The kind of most common flat Earth process is here's what the globe predicts, and then something that isn't what the globe predicts, and then this observation doesn't match.
I didn't say anything about the globe.
Which it doesn't.
Strawmanning me. Don't.
Hold on, just let me finish. Let me finish. And then of course they don't match because you know, there's no problem. Anyway, so here, this is a slight variation of that. So you're implying to the audience that this would not work on
Minimize
a
your
globe.
screen share, Sully.
Yeah, I didn't say
You're,
anything.
all right, I'm not done. Just a second. You're implying to the audience, that there is some sort of problem with that on the globe, but there in fact is no problem with that on the globe.
I'd love to hear a practical explanation. Yes.
I already gave it to you, and I gave you some diagrams too.
So it bent around the ball.
Of course, yeah, it's super easy for sound waves to do that in water.
Even though it has a tendency to converge back up, and then like you would effectively see it going like this down several thousand kilometers or meters, probably, right? Several thousand meters at a time, just over and over and over again for half of the circumference of the globe. I want the audience to just hear you say that. That's
Yeah.
it. I know
You
there's
have
probably a bunch of people in there, like, you know, that are going to agree with you by default, by proxy, just because you're the globe guy. But I want them to like really think about how little sense this actually makes on a globe.
So what you've done is you've described something that is perfectly acceptable and normal, expected on the globe.
It's normal.
Yeah. Yes, so that's how sound waves work in water.
Mm-hmm. Half the circumference of the globe.
Yeah, no problem at all. I mean, people, I don't know if people have been to concerts, and if you maybe are behind a building, you can still hear the concert because somehow the sound got to you. Maybe you could go behind a couple different buildings and still hear it because sound waves do that. They go around corners like that. It's diffraction. It's like the waves that I showed on the surface of the water. This is all normal stuff as expected on the globe.
It's what we expect on a globe. You heard it here first, guys. There's the ball because sound waves propagate around half the circumference very regularly. I want to remind everybody that this is not a regularly occurring phenomenon. This is actually not something that happens very often. They do try to recreate this. I could show you slides on, I believe it's the Herd experiment or Herd, I forget exactly what they call it. I'm going to pull it up for just a sec. The Herd Island feasibility test. They do test this and they usually can barely get it up to like 15,000 kilometers, which I think is still quite compelling, but 19,000 is a little overkill in my opinion. So that's it, bro. I just want the audience to hear that you're the crazy guy. I get to poison the well too, I suppose.
We do have 20 minutes left if there's anything you want to go over, Toon, or if there's anything you left out solely.
No, I didn't actually put slides together for aviation, and we treat the Earth like it's flat and level. Objectively, we don't make any physical corrections for curvature. We don't make any physical corrections for Earth motion.
Here's a book in aviation I got. There's no flat Earth version of this, but typically what I've found, and if you go to my website mctoon.net/govdocs, you'll find probably the document that he wanted to bring up. And every time that they do this, they don't read the actual paper. And so when they have these things like saying that they're going to produce a program that models an airplane flying, what they do is they leave out specific things. They're called simplifying assumptions, saying we're not going to include this in our program or in our paper here, and you need to take that into account when you go and use it, because your usage of this, you're going to need to apply these things as necessary. So they do things like they say, we did not include computation for wind. We did not include computation for the flexibility of the wings. They'll say that they're assuming a rigid aircraft. We did not assume that there is wind. I said that already? I think I started with wind. Varying mass of the airplane, because airplanes burn fuel, and later in the flight, there's less fuel. They don't include those things because they don't know ahead of time what they are. They don't include then also the rotation of the Earth, and they don't include also the curvature of the Earth. That's left to the future people. The reason why they list these things in there is because they are things that exist, and they are things that the next people are going to need to take into account.
Oh, so the reason that they tell you that the Earth is flat and stationary is because that's something that exists?
Yes. And the reason why they say that they're not taking wind into account is because wind does exist. Go read the documents and make sure that you read the whole document, because every single one of those 44 documents is a confirmation that the Earth is a globe and it's rotating.
I didn't name a single document. I read a flight manual.
You did not read a flight manual.
I showed it to you. I'll show it to you again. I already showed it to you once, brother. Here, let me pull it up and then I'll share screen because Flight Dynamics Principles, second edition here.
That's not a flight manual.
Uh, Flight Dynamics Principles. Where did it go? Well, whatever. I'll just open up a new one. There you go. It's about 500 pages.
All right, we got about 12 to 14 minutes left here, and then we'll get into the Q&A.
So just nuh-uh? That's cool.
No, not nuh-uh. The reason why they're listing that is because these are things that you need to take into account. But that wasn't a flight manual.
You need to treat the Earth like it's flat and stationary.
Now,
I know,
okay,
bro.
so when you do, here's how you take into account the rotation of the Earth when you are plotting a route. So I mentioned it earlier that Coriolis is smaller than a lateral wind, and the way that they deal with the wind and Coriolis and just slightly being off in their heading is they have a series of waypoints throughout the flight. So they'll use the Great Circle route to plot the general route, and then they'll choose waypoints along the Great Circle route. So when you're flying and they put it into the computer, if they're going to use an autopilot, they'll say, we're going to go to this waypoint and then to this waypoint. And so when they reach each waypoint, they say, all right, well, our next waypoint is at this particular heading. So we're going to shift our heading to that. A lot of the time it's so minor you don't notice, because they're generally in a straight line anyway. But if there's a large amount of wind, then it's going to have to make adjustments. So that's how they deal with Coriolis in flight planning. How they deal with the sphericity of the Earth in flight planning is they need to know the amount of fuel that they need, and so they need to know the distance between points on the surface of the Earth. I talked about this earlier. You use the Haversine formula to do that. And that specifically uses the radius of the Earth because it's a trigonometric function that uses spherical trigonometry. That's how they use the spherical nature of the Earth in flight planning.
Okay. So we treat the Earth like it's a ball, except for when we don't, basically.
We always treat the Earth like it's a ball.
But except for when we treat it like it's flat and stationary by your own admittance.
No, not by my own admittance. I'm saying that when
oh my God,
when they are creating these documents, they're specifically saying this program, this document, this whatever product we're creating here is not taking that into account. You need to take that into account when you do your work as the next step in this process.
What's the next step exactly?
Any number of different steps. There's
name one. Name one.
In the next step of planning an airplane, well, you might say, all right, we're going to now model whether or not this airplane can function with just one engine instead of two engines. That might be the next step. So they'll take that document.
Fly with one engine over a flat stationary.
Hold on, I wasn't done. So they'll say, well, we'll take this. This assumes that both engines are running, but now we're going to go and we're going to have only one engine running. And what do we do then when only one engine is running? We'll take the previous product and we'll use that, and then we'll build on top of it to go to the next step. That's one of many thousands of different steps that you might do while planning building an airplane.
So the Earth is a ball, but don't treat it like it's a ball, basically.
Always treat it like it's a ball.
Except for when we're told not to.
No, we always do.
Is that why they tell you not to?
They don't tell you not to. They tell you
specifically
you will need to take into account.
How do you adjust
in
for
the future?
Then
I already went over that.
No, like physically, manually.
Manually, in the moment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
That was quite a lot of specificity in what I gave you.
In the moment, how do they account for curvature? Okay, so like I said, so
at 500 miles an hour at 35,000 feet, how do you do it? Is that more? Is that better?
At 500 miles an hour, how do you account for curvature? Well, you've already done that before you took off, because you plan your flight route. You fueled the plane with the correct amount of fuel for your flight because you know the distance across the surface of the Earth, right?
How do you do it when the Earth curving down and away from you while you're flying?
Down and away from you. So when you are in the airplane,
What?
you started laughing before I.
Oh, don't mind.
Yeah,
me,
let's-
don't mind me.
What's wrong with you?
Let's just
This
let him
is
finish
fun.
there.
Why can't I talk?
You are talking.
You are interrupting me. Why are you interrupting me when I'm just beginning my sentence? What kind of child are
sorry.
you? Are you just a little baby boy that you have to constantly interrupt me while I'm talking?
Says the guy who's
You're the little baby boy that won't let me talk. You ask me a question, you little baby boy. I start talking and you overtalk me. What's
could
wrong
just
with you?
answer it.
I couldn't just answer it because you instantly interrupted me.
You gotta at least mute yourself if you're gonna laugh at an elevated volume there. It's just a little bit of time left, so I mean, you'll get some closing statements. I was gonna let him do this response and then give you guys both 5 minutes to kind of close it out. So
I apologize. I didn't know he was going to say something so funny.
fair enough.
All right.
All right, go ahead and get back to it, and then I'll give you solely the first closing statement there. Or since you went first, I'll let him have the last word there. And then if you want to segue this into your closing, you're more than welcome, or let him respond to it, then give your closing tune. But yeah, that's kind of how we'll wrap it up.
Okay. So he was asking how do you deal with curvature going down and away from you when you're in an airplane? So a lot of that is part of the dynamics of flight. There are multiple forces at play here. And one of the things that happens is you've got multiple control surfaces. You got your wings, you got your elevators. And while you're flying, you are at a particular buoyancy. It's not buoyancy, it's lift. It's similar to if you're on a boat. So let's say you're on a boat and you're on the surface of the Earth. And you would never wonder on a globe, if you're on a boat, how come the pilot of the boat didn't have to adjust for the curvature of the Earth? Well, the reason why you would never wonder that is
Don't
because
travel 500 miles an hour.
Bro, I had you muted, man.
Yeah, I know, and all I did was put up my hand. This is biased, bro. You're being a biased moderator. It is
No,
what it is, bro.
I'm just trying to not let the interruptions hang up the ability to have a full
Is this
response,
an
and you have
interruption?
a full response. No, but you unmuted yourself and interrupted before he was done. So that's the only reason. I'm not trying to be biased, brother. I'm literally just trying to keep this debate on the rails. And I've given you guys tons of grace to, go at it. And I like to do that because it makes for great content. But that's all we're trying to do is just keep the responses to a start
can I
and
at
a
least-
stop. And then if everybody's cool with the interruption, that's one thing, but it's clearly not the
no, it's not cool.
there.
No.
Yeah. No, I'm saying if everyone was cool, then that's one thing. Then it's a little bit more back and forth, but this is going into a closing statement. We kind of got to wrap it up without going too far off.
Yeah, let him do his closing statement.
Go for it, Sully.
The four properties of flight are drift, or lift, drag, thrust, and what you would attribute to gravity, I would simply call downward acceleration. It has nothing to do with the wings. And I don't know why you would give the analogy of a boat. That's silly. All right. Anyway, Earth's not a ball. Sorry about your feelings. It doesn't hurt. I promise. Just think about it. We can't map out the entire ocean floor using Euclidean geometry and then make it into a ball. That's literally just that's dumb. You can't fluctuate the R value underneath a microwave transmission and make it infinite. Picture a bicycle tire with one infinite spoke. That's what you believe you live on if you live on a sphere. At least that's how they model it out post-process. I've yet to get a logical or practical response for how those things are actually working in reality. He just says, well, that's what the globe expects. Well, why does it expect that? And truthfully, I don't think it does. I just don't think he has a response. The Earth's not a ball. That's my statement. Now I'll mute. There you go.
Okay, well, I was going to give you a little bit more time. You both got about 3 to 5 if you want. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, Mike, for moderating. Thank you, James, for the channel, for the opportunity here. Well, I did show a measurement of Coriolis. Didn't have any response. I showed how to measure distances across the surface of the Earth. It matches the globe, and there's no flat Earth mechanism that matches, and no proposed correction to it. Anyway, this is a pretty solid victory for the globe, as always. Anyway, thank you very much. Look forward to the Q&A.
All right. We got a good amount of questions for both of you. Some statements, and then some members that I just want to thank real quick. We got quite a bit that just became members on the Debater, the Spectator, and I think there's one more, the Final Word. Yes, appreciate all you guys. So let's move on into it here. We got, starting off, Basil Problem, of course, a regular supporter of the channel. Since $5, he says, at Toon, is it rational to derive a flat Earth belief by believing in the Bible? And you guys both can respond to this. Just let one person respond in entirety before your turn.
No, I do not think that. I think that you should look to nature, look to the environment, look to the surface of the Earth to figure out what shape the Earth is, and then go to a holy book and see, does that holy book or your interpretation of that holy book match reality? If it doesn't match reality, well, then your holy book or your interpretation of the holy book is obviously wrong.
Thank you. Sully, you want to respond to that question?
I would actually agree. I would agree with that. You should test it in reality and then see if it confirms what you read. I'm not religious, but yeah.
Awesome. Okay, let's get to the next one here. I think he sent a couple in succession. Second one here. Toon, do you believe that Jesus died and resurrected 2,000 years ago? What evidence do you have for this?
I do, and the evidence is not scientific evidence. So it is a faith system.
Solely, would you like to respond?
No comment.
Fair enough. Okay. Kango the Kook says for $5, MCToon, are we really going to use water going down a drain as science? And then he sent another one. I'll just read them back to back and you can respond to both at once. He said, your whole 10 minutes was based on nonsense. Where is the science?
Well, I did not use water going down a drain. I specifically said those were scams. So I don't know why he mentioned that. My evidence for Coriolis was a physical measurement using a gyroscope. So that's pretty good science there. I don't know why he had a problem with that.
Sully, remark on that?
Yeah,
like I said, you can respond to anything.
Yeah, I'm just muting while he's talking. He did say about the swirly things, those are a scam, and I agree with that. The rest of it was nonsense, though. You're right.
All right. So we got Basil Problem again for $5. Oh, no, wait, actually, he sent 2 back to back. So I'll just read both back to back. And the first one is a little bit, it's kind of assumptuous because I believe everything should be challenged personally, ideologically. But then the second one, I think, is a little more direct to you. He said, MCToon, your promotion of MDD, a misinformation, Christian nationalist propaganda channel, is thumbs up. Then, is Will Duffy, your fellow polar explorer, a young Earth creationist? Would he agree with Kent Hovind on the age of the Earth?
Well, I'm not scared to be on any particular platform. So whether or not you're correct, Basil Problem, about this platform, I don't know. I've not seen that, but whatever. Is Will Duffy a young Earth creationist? It does seem he still is. He is having some good conversations with Guts at Gibbons. Maybe he can. I hope that he is cured of that.
Sully, anything? You want me to move on?
Yeah, no, that's good. Go ahead.
Cool. All right. So he might have sent 1 or 2 more, but I'm going to read these in order here. Alejandra Trovale sent 50 MX. I have no idea what that is. Is it pesos? I don't know. Hey, Sully, do you know what word is mentioned in that flight manual 9 times more than, quote, flat Earth? Gravity. So gravity is real according to you, right? I did the quotes he wrote.
Yeah, no, that's cool. 9.81 meters per second squared is an effect. It's not a cause. You're welcome.
All right. Would you like to respond to that at all, too?
That's good.
Kango again says, MX collab cooked you like an Xmas turkey. I'm surprised you can show your face. I don't know. Is MX Max or is
collab?
that you?
I don't know who.
Maybe he's just calling out Max in the chat. No idea.
There was a
Okay.
debate between Max and Caleb. Maybe
That's
he's
probably it.
confusing me with
The,
yeah, I
w-
don't know.
the way Caleb is spelled looks more like collab.
Oh,
Uh,
that makes sense.
all right. Toon, this is the other one from Basil. Should a
Okay.
frisbee sport ever be in the Olympics?
I would love to see ultimate frisbee in the Olympics. I was hoping for LA. Not that I care a whole lot about Olympics or sports, but I love ultimate frisbee. Maybe in another 4 years.
What do you think, Sully? You into frisbee at all?
No.
Not a
You're
frisbee
not
guy.
you're not into flying disc in space sports? Come on, what kind of
I'm not
flatty
into-
are you?
That's a straw man. Please don't do that. You know that's a straw man, bro. You've been doing that this whole time, and you're just
Have you? You should talk to Ali B. He actually thinks it's a flying disc in space. I'm not kidding. He does.
Jack Fetter for 5 says, no data or math to counter, so solely falls back to, quote, it's not an experiment, end quote. Flat Earth is pathetic. Same old nonsense. All right, Sully, what are you going to say to this guy?
yeah. He's gonna have to timestamp that because I don't particularly recalling something not. I don't recall saying something was not an experiment. I do recall saying that I was unfamiliar with a few things, but
Yeah, I didn't catch you saying anything wasn't an experiment.
yeah, I'm pretty honest
Maybe is
about what I
the
know and don't know.
rangefinder thing?
No,
That's
I
the only
didn't
thing I
say
can think of.
anything. I didn't say it wasn't an experiment.
Yeah, it's an anecdote, but yeah, maybe
But-
still acknowledge it.
But
as an experiment.
there is one response to Jack Fetter. That's chirp. He's got a smoke detector that's making noises. Needs a new battery.
I was thinking you were referencing crickets. So that's actually
No.
a little bit different than where my mind is at. All right. I think he posted this Christmas turkey one twice, or just populated twice. Hope he didn't spend money twice on the same thing. Basil Problem says, MCToon, have you been to Antarctica? Must have been very scary.
I have been. It wasn't scary. The only thing that I was a little concerned about was landing on the ice runway. Because yeah, that freaked me out a little bit. But it was actually a really simple landing. It wasn't scary at all in the end.
All right. Kango for 20 New Zealand something or others. Throughout human history, as we probe the mysteries of the universe, discovered things, and figured stuff out, the resounding cry has been falsification is independent of replacement. What a moron. Either of you could respond to that. I'm not sure if they wanted anyone in particular.
I did falsify Flat Earth pretty hard today, so thank you.
Sounds like he called himself
Solely?
a moron. That's my interpretation. He called himself a moron. I don't know.
Basil, again, this guy is on one for 5. He says, MCToon, are you the Eratosthenes of our time or more like a Newton?
Eratosthenes? No,
Eratosthenes. Yeah, I don't know if I read it wrong or if he spelled it wrong.
It's hard to spell and hard to pronounce. I no, not at all. Neither.
So not like a Newton either. Fair enough. Kango again. These two are in a fight for number 1 here. Throughout history, globeheads mistake reality for what a teacher tells them.
Do they? Globeheads do that. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
That was from Kango? Kango's not a flat earther.
Oh, is he one of the people that launders money?
I think I think he's
He's
joking.
trolling.
I think he's just trolling.
Good old Eratostines. Someone said. Rex Betancourt for 5 says it's called thermodynamics. That was all caps. Flat Earth states we are in a domed enclosure. Sun equals heat. Heat equals pressure. Enclosed equal boom. I win. So STFU and FC. Okay, yeah. I'm going to read the last one verbatim, but
That is an unsolved problem. If it was
I like how he
fully
did
enclosed,
that.
it would the heat would increase constantly.
So we live in a dynamic system with pressure and temperature differentials. They're
But-
proportional to one another.
Yeah, but as a whole, the entire whole system would increase in temperature over time. That's what he's saying.
Without knowing what the firmament is made of, I can't speak.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
Oh, so we're just existing next to a vacuum. That's the alternative, right?
No, that's again the straw man of the globe. Like I talked about in the beginning, it's the incorrect version of the globe.
So we don't exist next to a vacuum.
What you've described is the incorrect version of the globe. So yeah, it's no surprise that the incorrect version of the globe isn't what we see, because that's not what the globe is.
So we don't exist next to a vacuum.
Again, you're incorrectly describing things. You're just going around incorrectly describing things.
Strong words, man. Strong words. Hitchens razor. There we go.
Basil again for 10 says PH at MCToon. PH Tony says he converted 2 young Earth creationists during his debate with Hovind. How many flat earthers do you think you'll convert today?
I don't know. I do get messages from people, not that rarely, that they've either partially they were curious and then found my stuff and decided that that didn't make sense, or people that's a lot more. It's family members. Like my family member was falling into this and now they're not anymore. So I don't know. People don't self-report all that often.
All right. There's some funny comments going on about how many times Basil's commented. All right. So that one was that last one was from Basil, and I believe Jack is Kango sent one more after that saying, "MC Toot, why do you have to straw man every topic?"
Unless this maybe this is somebody posing as Kango.
How many Kangos are out there?
Well, I mean, anybody.
Oh, no, you know what? There's Kango, and then there's Kango 4457. Just
It's
itself.
Kango 44.
There are 2 Kangos.
Maybe it's a different one. Okay. What was the question?
Same numbers in their name, so one is definitely trying to troll in case of the other one. The question was, why do you have to straw man every topic?
I try not to. I specifically I had a whole slide asking if there's a different way to compute distances across the surface of flat Earth. I'd love to know it. Lacking that, I will use the model that flat earthers have used for years. It's on the cover of their books, right? Rob Skiba, Gleason, Odell. No, that's not Odell. That's Nathan Roberts. That's Odell. Right? You got this one. You got Edward Hendry. Right? It goes on and on, like books and books, and then they're, you look at Dubé, you look at Dearth. They both use the same map, everything's the same. So no flat earthers ever told me I was wrong by giving me the right one. So I try not to strawman.
He objectively does not. He does it on purpose. All of that was basically just for show. It is what it is. The guy has no argument. It's cool.
Correct me. Give me the correct distance across the surface of flat Earth. How do we do it?
Falsification is independent of replacement. The Earth does not have a radius.
But I have falsified flat Earth.
I was talking, bro. I thought I was talking.
No,
Sorry. Your radius value was debunked like 20 years ago. I've been a flat earther for 10 years, bro. You've been doing this for I don't know how long, and you still can't do anything like accurately. You have to go out of your way and strawman our position to make it look weaker, because that's the only way you're laughing right now because you know it's true. That's why you're drinking water as well. You're nervous. It is what it is, bro. It is what it is. You have to use sophistry, and even when I call you out, the mod tells me to stop. Isn't that crazy? I think
No,
that's
I just
crazy.
didn't want it to go on too long. You're welcome to call people out. That's all. I just didn't want to spend too much time on it. So
Thanks for telling me now.
sorry if it sounded like I was saying you just can't do it at all. That's not what I was saying. Um, I thought I clarified that. My bad, solely. Um, Kango again. This is, I'm guessing, the actual Kango. Sent 20 New Zealands. He said, solely, the world has been completely mapped. ALOS World 3D, 30M, AW3D 30. It covers global land areas spanning from 90 degrees north to 90 degrees south, including the poles. My question, is it strange to pretend this does not exist?
Strawman. I don't respond to strawmans, bro. It's a strawman. Of course, I agree with the latitude and longitude. You would get that from the sky. You should do some research into how we actually got it.
All right. You want to say anything to that too?
Yeah, that's just a white flag. Okay, that's all.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So I didn't respond. Okay.
Yeah, wave that white flag.
All right. Anti Kango says, Kango, who measured the whole earth, please provide evidence. Oh, by the way, Caleb wants to debate with you. Man up. So that was a $5 message across the sphere.
With me? Caleb knows how to contact me.
Debate sphere. Being clear. He does? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Caleb,
Yes.
do your thing.
Send me an email, or I mean, he's on Instagram. I'm rarely on Instagram, but I think he has my email address. MCToon@mctoon.net.
Okay. Squeaky Eyes for 5 Canadian dollars, I guess. Explain stellar parallax solely. You need objects in front of and behind others. How does that work if stars are dots on a dome? Caleb couldn't.
You don't need them to be. Um, you look into the Neo-Tychonian model with the incorporation of Mach's principle. That's how I'll respond to that. You can
All
literally
right.
just type that into Google, by the way.
Jack Feder is shots fired over here from Jack Feder's $5. He said, solely you, all caps, are insulting to the intelligence of the audience. You whine and cry and frankly sound like a team who wits it. Let's you got something you want to say to Jack Feder?
Can I cuss?
Moderately, I don't,
Witsit doesn't even cuss, bro.
I don't know who Witsit is. He was on this channel a long time ago?
He's been on, yeah.
Debating? Yeah. I might have came across him. But yeah, I mean, as long as it's not like, crazy. You say whatever you want to him in response.
Crazy is subjective. That's cool.
That's true. That's true. Mildly inappropriate, maybe. Don't get my channel banned. That's all. James's channel.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool.
All right. Well, then we will go to Kango again. But this is, I think that I'm trying to keep track of the Kangos. This is the anti-Kango. Caleb versus Kango. Let's set a date. Man up, Congo.
Oh, Caleb versus Kango.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Oh, that'd be funny.
I agree with that.
Which side is Kango on?
It depends which Kango. We got one of each. But Caleb's a flatty, so it would be the Caleb the Kango that's the not flatty.
Okay. Oh, you know what? The New Zealand Kango did respond to that, and since they sent money, I'm just gonna go ahead and read this real quick. 20 New Zealand dollars. To the idea of me debating Caleb, I'm an adult with a job, not a spastic little troll living on TikTok, a platform for children. I would be better spending my time talking to a lump of shite. It would be more interesting.
Okay, so he thinks flat earthers are lumps of shite, and he spends all of his time talking to them, and he also spends his time in every single moderated debate that I've ever seen. He's literally he's the guy that sends all of his money to talk to these people. So Why don't you just debate us? That's, I guess, the better question. Weird.
Yeah, I think it's interesting having this little parasocial conversation through super chats. Emails are easy to find usually. IC Spin for 5 says the heliocentric model makes predictions that happen in reality. What predictions does flat Earth make? Just one, like literally one. Anything.
Antikythera mechanism has been able to predict eclipses since like the biblical eras. So just do some research, brother. Ptolemy was able, or Ptolemy, depending on your frame of reference, was able to predict using a geocentric position. Of course, taking coordinates from a flat baseline, assuming the Earth was flat relative to his local position, he was able to develop a pretty good model. So it would, of course, work if the Earth were flat. That's just ignorance on your behalf, bro.
The anti-Kythera mechanism does not predict the path of totality, the amount of totality, the location of anything. The only thing it does is it applies the sorrow cycles to get the year, the day approximate.
Yeah, your guys don't actually predict it very close and very accurately either until the day of or close to.
Oh my goodness, no! It's
You guys
done.
don't get no.
It's done years in advance. Many years in
Oh,
advance.
so it's like the Antikythera mechanism, except it's not as precise.
No. It's significantly more precise. Here is the Eclipse Almanac 2021 to 2030. I bought this prior to 2021. It is correct. It is very specifically giving paths of totality of eclipses. So here is the 2024 April 2024 eclipse. That was a big deal across the United States. It gives a path of totality. This was 2024. It was published more than 4 years prior. Now, the Antikythera mechanism, I asked the biggest expert on the Antikythera mechanism in flat Earth, Vika Drazeev, how did the Antikythera mechanism predict the path of totality for this eclipse? He had no answer to it. It does not predict the path of totality, where the globe solar system ephemerides does predict it. Specifically, this book we used VSOP 87 and ELP 2000 ephemerides. Those are each of those is an ephemeris of the solar system. That's how it's done. The Antikythera mechanism doesn't do it at all.
So your argument is that the things that have been on cycle since the beginning of time sometimes overlap with one another. Therefore, the Earth must be a ball orbiting the sun.
No, that the path of totality is not a cycle. That never repeated. It's never gone across that path before, and will never go again.
No, you're strawmanning me. The things that have been on cycle since the beginning of time sometimes overlap with each other, causing the path of totality in the process. And the fact that we can predict that with relative accuracy, that must mean that the Earth is a sphere.
The only way that you can predict this is by using the fact that the Earth is a sphere, and the fact that the sun is 150 million kilometers away, and the fact that the distance to the moon is well known. That's how these things are predicted, not using the Antikythera mechanism, as you said.
I just gave an example.
You did not give an example. Your example does not predict the path of totality.
Cool story, bro. All right.
All right. Yeah, I see now everybody in our chat telling that guy stop spamming the same question. Please just listen to the mods. All right. Or you could send the super chat, man, and then I'll actually ask it. Big League Drew for 5 says, how do planes generate lift? If it is low/high pressure system, how can they fly upside down?
I don't know who that's for.
Anyone who wants to answer?
We could both answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the angle of attack of the wing that changes when they're upside down too. So I don't know why that there's a big question. Like there's some YouTubers that have made videos that are like trying to mostly clickbait into it, but then when you actually get into it, it's not a problem.
Yeah, I don't see how that even pertains to the shape of the Earth. I don't feel like that matters.
The generating lift question.
Yeah, I mean that would be equally as valid on a flat Earth.
All
It
right.
has nothing to do with curvature.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, we got another one from Kango. This is anti-Kango. He said, Kango, we get it. Coward. Now go cry yourself to sleep. That was in response to his I got a job, all that stuff. Okay. Basil Problem says for 5, McToon, do you think it was fair to make your fans pay for you to explore Antarctica where others on your trip similarly funded?
I didn't make anybody do anything. People
You forced them,
chose.
bro.
Yeah, people chose. So, and apparently though, Mike, you forced Basil Problem to do that super chat.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely every
What?
time
Is
try
that
to
fair?
squeeze blood from a diamond.
Calling Basil Problem a diamond. I like that. That's good humor.
All right. Big League Drew for 5. Shout out Big Mike. Praying for your brother. Appreciate it. IC Spin for 2 says, call the front desk and ask them the shape of the earth. So anyone got the number to the front desk?
Oh, are you in a hotel? People were wondering. That's I think what it's about.
Got it. All right. Kango, Anti-Kango says, Toonie, been building for 50 years and never built a level curved house. The things you teach, shame on you.
Well, over the distance of a house, how much curvature is there? Millionths of a degree. It's nowhere near enough to make a difference. You need to go. If you go 7 miles, you get a tenth of a degree, and most levels aren't precise to a tenth of a degree. And you're not doing it a house that's 7 miles long.
All right. Sully, you're welcome to respond. That was definitely
building-
direct.
Yeah, having to adjust for curvature in a house is just completely unreasonable. But, there's like 100-mile bridges and other things that we like pipelines, gas lines, things that are hundreds of miles long that we objectively don't take any consideration for Earth curve for. But yeah.
Got another 5 from Big League Drew. Thanks, man. He says, magenta isn't a real color. Change my mind. This guy's asking the real questions and
Google it.
making the real statements.
There was a character on Blue's Clues named Magenta. That's all the evidence I need.
I'm gonna have to say there are only 10 colors. You got the primary colors: red, yellow, blue. You got the secondary colors: orange, green, purple. Right? Then you got black, white, and gray. That's 9. And then you can't go a whole day without brown. So that's it. There's only 10 colors. So magenta is just some variation of one of the other colors. You can throw a couple adjectives in front of it and get whatever your fake magenta.
All right, guys, I'm throwing up the poll right now. I'll ask one more question, and while they're answering that, I will get the poll finished and started here because we do have, let's say, a handful of questions left. So I appreciate you guys hanging with us. If you guys want to also shout out your channels too, real quick, before I ask that next question. Sully, you want to go first? Do you have a YouTube channel or a website? Anything you want to shout out, direct people to you?
I am on YouTube, but I'm more popular on TikTok at Solly. I have 4
Solly,
accounts.
sorry.
Yeah, that's cool, bro. Solly, SOLI. You'll find me. My main account has quite a massive following. Well, not too massive, but it's respectable.
All right. Go ahead, Tim.
I have 2 channels on YouTube, MCToon Live, which is where I'm live streaming this now, and Conspiracy Tunes, where I do pre-recorded videos. I do have an account on all the other platforms too. It's usually just MCToon. So it's on TikTok, X. It's MCToon27 on X. Michael Toon on Facebook. There you go.
Awesome. All right. Poll is up, guys. No third option this time. Okay. Next question we got here is Basil Problem, another 5. It says, Toon, how do you decide what parts of the Bible to believe in? For example, you don't believe in flat Earth.
Well, I don't think that the Bible is trying to have any particular type of knowledge or wisdom about the shape of the earth in it. That's not what the topic of the Bible is. It's history and spiritual things and the afterlife, not science.
So the first page of Genesis doesn't talk about the creation?
It's a poetic version of stuff, but it's certainly not it's not a step-by-step guide for a scientist to know how it happened. No.
So did Jesus metaphorically and poetically die on a cross or no?
I don't think it was metaphorical or poetic, but some
So
people
it's just
do.
really just eye of the beholder, whichever you want to be true and
Ah,
whatever you want to disagree with.
you are 100% correct. That is what happens with the Bible. Everybody has a different interpretation of it.
Some of them are wrong.
Well, yep. Many of them have to be wrong because I guess there could be at most one that's right.
All right. Jack Fetter says, "Good Lord, Solly, look up whales." Not sure
I
what that was.
actually I do have a slide on whales.
Sonar. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I do have a slide on whales. I just skipped it. It's that I could only find reasonable and reliable sources for up to like 6,000 kilometers, and I didn't think that was like super compelling. I went with the herd feasibility experiment instead. Half the
Uh,
circumference of the globe is still pretty compelling, regardless.
all right, we got some more. We got some more here, guys. The poll is up. If you're listening on anyone else's channel, if someone's co-streaming it, come on over, vote for who you think had more persuasive arguments tonight. And um, if you agreed with them and you don't follow them, go ahead, follow their channels. We appreciate you tuning in. Okay, we got one coming in from, let's see, Squeaky Eyes. He says 9.81. If not gravity, what's the mechanism? I believe
Research for
this.
me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say with any amount of certainty, but I've read papers where you can derive it with like things like Coulomb's law, and I've also read papers where you can derive it with electrostatics as well. That's actually, in my understanding, that is the more simple one to derive. The big G would be the harder one. But with any amount of certainty, I would never make a positive claim.
There is no derivation of the downward acceleration using Coulomb's law. It is
I will send
completely
it to you.
completely impossible to derive the downward acceleration using Coulomb's law because Coulomb's law is about charged particles in reacting with each other. You can extend it to an electrostatic field, but it's still based on the charge of the object in the field. And if you have a charge as positive, it'll go one direction, and if it's negative, it'll go the other direction. However, most things are generally not charged at all, so in an electrostatic field, won't even have any net force at all. Now, there is one that attempts to derive G, capital G, using electrostatics. It's pretty terrible. People that understand the topic have read it and thought, that's a mess. But you can sort of, if you take that, you can, but you still don't, it doesn't give you the downward acceleration.
Sorry, did you want to continue with something you said, Sully? I heard you cut in there.
I have all the stuff in PDF format if anybody's interested.
Yes, I'd love to see it if you could send it to me.
Yeah.
All right, BBC Netanyahu. Oh, we got the Prime Minister of Israel in our chat. Just chiming in to say flat Earth is a CIA plant to discredit serious conspiracies. Next question.
So smart, bro.
All right. Well, appreciate that, baby. Elysium Aviation for 5 says, I wonder why all of international navigation is based on a globe. Solly, why is there no functional alternative to the globe for navigation?
I went into navigation and like some level. We just use latitude and longitude, bro. It's just we take angular measurements of like Polaris, for example. That's how we got our latitude up to the equator, and then we use the sun for things like longitude as well. So it's all assuming flat baseline. It's the only way you can take an angular measurement of anything above your head. So it would definitely work.
That is
flat Earth. Now my opponent's gonna say that it's like, oh no, but yes.
that is not how geometry works at all. Not even a little.
Okay, so we assume the Earth is curving when we measure angles to Polaris.
Yes.
In what way?
So here, let me show you. Just a second. It's cool.
No, don't show me. We don't have time for that, bro. It's almost midnight.
All right. Hold on.
Are you in the
No,
East
I got you.
Coast?
All right. Here's how you can take an angle on the surface of a globe. Here's a globe.
The question.
Here is. No, you said it's geometrically impossible to take an angle on the surface of a globe. I'm showing you. It's not hard at all.
Straw man. That's a straw man. I did not say that.
There you go.
I said it's possible on a flat Earth.
Easy to do on the globe. And so when you measure angles to Polaris,
I disagree with that.
when you measure angles to Polaris,
for no reason.
you're assuming that the Earth is a globe.
Dude, I don't care how bad you want attention. You're doing this for no reason. You pulled a globe out of your ass for no reason. You're so
All right.
dumb.
Another win for the globe. Thank you.
So flat
All right,
lines don't
we got a
work on
couple-
a flat Earth. That's your argument. Shut up.
None of the geometry works. None of it works for flat Earth.
Now it works. After you said that it didn't.
It never works for flat Earth.
Flat lines don't work on a flat Earth, guys. You heard it here first.
The geometry doesn't work for flat Earth. It never does. Be happy to go into that with anybody that thinks that geometry for flat Earth does work. But no flat earther ever wants to talk about geometry of flat Earth.
Cool, man. But
Okay.
more time.
Here's a call. Hey, James, for James. Find a flat earther that wants to talk about the geometry of flat Earth that we can go over. I'd love to talk about it on your channel, James.
Can we talk about the geometry of the globe while we're there?
Sure. We can compare and contrast them.
Yeah, we should.
We both come with our own geometric model and instructions on how to apply it.
So this one's to Sully. Just want to get a couple of these out of the way so we don't take up too much of your night here. Appreciate you staying, man. This is from JSS Tiger. Since 5, he says, curved surfaces can exist on a 3D Cartesian coordinate system. You said they don't.
Did not say that. That's not what I said. I asked my opponent to model that out for me, and he refused to do so. Instead, he proceeded to strawman me and say something similar to what you said. All I said was that we assume a Cartesian coordinate system. We assume Euclidean geometry. That is how we map out the ocean floors, parallel to the datum of the horizontal sea level. Sorry, I'm getting tired. You can't steel man my position. Please don't attack it. It's recorded.
You just described the globe. Globe whiz again.
This guy's so stupid, bro. I can't. He's a fucking idiot.
Before I read the next couple, so we can close this out, just want to remind everyone Max is hosting the Yerba Mate Talks after show. If you guys want to go over there and BS about the debate or just whatever they bring up that might be just coming up, you guys are welcome to do that. He's one of our regulars to host a little after show, so you guys are welcome to go continue hanging out there. He's putting the link in the chat, by the way. All right, a couple more. Ren Quinn sends $2, doesn't say anything, just supports. Appreciate you. Kango sends 5 New Zealand. He said, there is another Kango in the super chat. If the super chat sounds like a spastic flatty, it's not me. Right, that doesn't require too much of a response. Boston Concerts 5. Wave the white flag, Solly. You're an uneducated POS, he says. Wow. What are you going to say to that?
It's amazing that you even read stuff like that. That's what I
yeah, it's amazing people pay money to try to insult our debaters. I don't want to skip all of them. I skipped some of the ones that are more, aggressive, but I do want to give you a chance maybe to, comment back to the haters. I don't like to take their money and
bro.
Yeah.
If he couldn't keep up with anything what I was saying, that's fine. That's not uncommon.
Fair. I just want to afford you the opportunity to address them all head on. CK Mamacita for 5. Insert Caleb. He says Solly is jealous and upset that Kango sends money to Whatcast and Solly is triggered by Whatcast. Solly paid Matt too. Insert Caleb laugh. That is some streamer drama. What's Whatcast?
Whatcast is another content creator. He's on I think he's on TikTok, right? He's certainly on YouTube.
Never heard of it. Big League Drew for 5 says it's not the shape of the wing. That's false. So that was regarding his earlier lift question.
I didn't say it was the shape of the wing. I said it was the angle of attack.
I didn't respond to it, so it's not me.
Correct. Alejandro Vallejo for 50 MX. I'm guessing that's Mexican pesos. I don't know. Ptolemy used a geocentric globe to predict eclipses, not a flat Earth model. So that doesn't help you. Try again.
Literally said he came up with a geocentric model. You could just Google the definition of the word geocentric and you would come to that understanding on your own. But you take angular measurements of the sky, assuming the Earth relative to your position is flat. You guys can't do anything without straw manning. It's cool. It's cool. I get it.
Yeah, bring up Ptolemy if you're a flat earther. It isn't to win. That's all.
Didn't claim it to be a win, bro. Somebody asked me a question about.
I'll be more bold. It's a lose.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lose.
Guys,
So like an all or nothing fallacy of some kind?
No, if you bring up Ptolemy requires the Earth to be a globe, and the Ptolemaic system has the planets far away from the sun.
Can you acknowledge, for the sake of the audience, can you be honest at least once tonight and just say that we take angular measurements of the sky, assuming the Earth is flat relative to our local position?
No, that's not how it works.
Okay.
Like I said, I'd be glad any flat earther that wants to go over the geometry of flat Earth, I'll definitely do that. I'd love to.
Yeah. All right. After you're done lying, right?
Just a quick reminder to the chat. I don't write these comments, and I've read almost every single one minus 2 that were just completely inappropriate to say on air. So just so you know. Seems like some of you guys think I'm just choosing to make this stuff up. I don't know. It's silly. Kango, the real Kango, says it's cute how they call mental homes hotels these days. Oh, that's mean.
Kango.
Okay, Globy McGlobeface for 5 says, Solly, was your hat not being straight on your head a strategic flat earth play? I'm feeling very uncool as I only wear my hat straight. Get with the times,
I literally
Globy.
I literally have a clip of you wearing your hat backwards, bro.
Oh, you know this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
he's
we
on
actually,
TikTok.
We were having a decent conversation, he and I. Originally, I was supposed to debate him, but that was a few months ago, and we never actually scheduled anything. I do plan on trying to reach out to him next, though, so wear your hat however you like it.
Big League Drew, I saw you said you have the same one as me. I appreciate that. I do. I like working on diesels in my spare time. I see spin for 2. Sully, what's the best evidence for a globe? I guess in your opinion.
What's the best evidence for a globe? I got nothing, bro. I got nothing. I don't know why you'd ask me that, to be honest.
I don't know. He's probably curious what you'd say.
Yeah.
At least it was respectful. Squeaky eyes for 2. We only got 2 left, guys. I don't think people are slowing down though. They just coming in. Squeaky eyes says, "What has or is flat Earth adding to society?"
What does globe Earth add to society? Do you not understand that that's like subjective? What a person contributes or does not contribute is not contingent upon what they believe. Like that's like asking what Christianity contributes to society or what weightlifting contributes to society. That's very two-dimensional. I feel sorry for the way that you think.
I can answer long range navigation. One thing.
That's what flat Earth added to society.
No, what the globe added, because he changed around the question.
All right, I was just double checking. Brandon K57 for 5 says, Solly, do you think you're actually smarter than all of the scientists who have verified a globe Earth?
No, but I'm not. That's not to say that they can't be incorrect. You can be smarter than, you don't have to be smarter than someone for them to be incorrect. I'm sorry, I'm getting very tired.
Jack, I will go back if I miss one about the flight thing. That was my bad. I appreciate you sending another one. Let me just double check. This was related to the flight dynamics book, I believe. Let's see. And I wasn't necessarily talking about that comment. I just must have missed it. I did close the polls, guys. So if y'all want to go check that out, it doesn't show me here. Jack is saying in relation to the flight dynamics book. He said, Sully, open your precious flight manual to page 13, figure 2.1. Describe what you see and read the paragraph below that diagram.
Oh. You paid you didn't pay me. You want to
And
send
then,
me $20, then go for it.
yeah, he said, mine was not insulting, Sully. Page 13, image 2.1 of your flight manual, read the paragraph below. Yeah, he's just trying to get you to open that. I'm curious. You should have just said what it said, man. That would have saved you $10 or another 5 at least. Okay, last one. Appreciate everybody's support. A lot of fun having these guys on. JSS Tiger for 5 says, what does it mean to, quote, take angular measurements assuming flat? You can measure angles regardless of flat or globe.
A great question.
You have to assume 90 degrees. That's all I'm going to say.
90 degrees doesn't mean flat. Thank you. Perfect.
Relative to your local position, though. So
Nope.
attack the entire argument.
Doesn't
Remember
mean
when you put your level, don't talk while I'm talking. Remember when you put your level on your globe, was that level relative to a local position?
Yeah, you've got a horizontal tangent at one spot.
Was it level relative to a local position?
It's a tangent, right? You know what a tangent is to us.
Just yes or no. Was it level relative to a local position?
it's level relative to a certain position. Yeah, a tangent point. Yeah.
So there's no need to straw man me and say that it.
No, but at a different spot, it's a different datum, different horizontal at that different spot because the Earth is a globe.
2 really short ones left.
Moves. Yeah.
IC Spin for 2. He says Adidas hoodies are outdoor only.
It's cold, dude. I'm not gonna lie, it is cold.
Hey, you're in the East Coast, right? You said it was midnight.
Yeah. It's 11:30. Yeah.
Okay, you're an hour ahead. And then Jack Feder says it says the Earth is a sphere in that flight dynamics book you got.
I actually hit Control F and typed the word sphere, and the only thing that came up was like atmosphere, troposphere, things of that nature. It never said anything about the Earth being a sphere.
Got him. All right. Well, you guys, I appreciate you having your time for the evening, or having your time for the evening. And I do want to give a shout out to both your channels one more time. If you guys want to say that, go ahead.
MCToon Live.
Solly on TikTok. That's pretty much it, bro.
On TikTok, guys. We do have a TikTok as well. We just started it not too long ago, so you can find us on there. We do shorts and other things like that. DebateCon 8 coming up this July. Tickets are in the description. Max has been posting them throughout the night. He's hosting Yerba Mate Talks next. If either of you gentlemen would like to go on there, continue the argument, start a new one, different topic, that'd be a good place to do it for the rest of the night. I know you're tired though, so appreciate you guys giving us all the time you have. And shout out to Yonaguni Cuisine and Main First for sponsoring DebateCon 8. That's in July. One more time. Tickets are in the description. Like the video. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. And then if you like the debate and their arguments, follow these debaters on their channels respectively. And then we will be back in a day or two with, I believe Andrew Wilson's coming on Saturday. So tune in for that. This should be a fun one. And then Sunday, perhaps as well, another debate. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but it should be on the channel. All right, guys. Well, appreciate you. Anything else you guys want to say before we close it out?
Well, thanks a lot. Thanks, Sully. It's been a good talk.
Yeah, it was decent, bro. I gotta use the restroom. I'm like squeezing my legs together. I'm not gonna lie. So
that definitely happens. All right, guys. Y'all take it easy. I'll let the chat cook for a little bit on this outro.
All right. See ya.
Later.
All right. Well, wow, that was great. That was super fun. I'm gonna shut this down. I got all your super chats. I will read them in the after show, which is linked. You should have that coming up automatically. You should get forwarded there. I'm not going to do a out song here, and I won't do an out song on the next ones. You'll just get moved out. So anyway, we'll see you in a minute.